out of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
It's gonna be a lot of slow singing and flower bringing if my burglar alarm starts ringing.
What's good? You are tuned in to the Apartment 5B podcast hosted by Kill. I got my squad with me. In effect, as always, I got my brother out of BK Vay. What's going on, bro?
I'll be good in a couple seconds,
There you go. I got you. We'll get you right there. We'll get you. My brother Tone from North Carolina. What's going on, bro?
Man, somebody got to represent the dirty, man. Got this little brew right here, so we good.
All right, no doubt. We got my man to live out of Harlem chopping it up with us for the first time. What's good, bro?
What's good? I'm just sipping on some H2O. You know what I'm saying? The original.
Hey, bro, I'm with you, man. It's just a bottle of water, man. You know what I mean? And I got my man Rem sitting there with us for the first time out of BK. What's good, bro?
What's good? Like Tone and Fake, I'm ready.
The red cup.
Right.
All right, there you go. You already know. Well, JR be here in a minute with his red cup, so we it's all gonna go down like that. Yo, y'all know me. Let's jump right into it. Shouts to my man at Martez_Delano, one of my peoples on Twitter. He had a question about, I forgot what it dealt with, but it dealt with a verse being put into the Smithsonian. And it had me thinking, I don't know if people have been able to get into it and go into the African American Museum out here in DC. But I mean, it's an amazing exhibit, just everything. But they have an amazing music exhibit. They got Dilla's MPC 3000 up in there. Just so much music, history, and everything like that. And it started me thinking, what if someone asked you what would 5 verses be to put into the Smithsonian so that people who know nothing about hip-hop when they're visiting could learn about hip-hop, and these would be the verses that kind of like you could follow after, almost like breadcrumbs? What would they be? And so that's what we're gonna be chopping it up about today. It's just verses, not the whole song, because I want to know like maybe what stuck out to you about certain things. I got my Philadelphia brethren right here in the building with me. Rel, what's good, baby?
What's good?
Everything is good, brother. Just a daily reminder that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I just like to do that every day. Like my job hates me, but hey, it just is what it is. Because if we would have lost, people would have been talking shit to us for eternity. So payback's a mother. What the comments say? Payback's a grandmother. Payback's a grandmother. So just a daily reminder that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. So that's what we're gonna be chopping it up about today. The first joint that I have on top is Public Enemy's Black Still in the Hour of Chaos. That joint to me, I mean, it's just, I remember hearing it for the first time, and then like the piano sample just had me. It was like, yo, this is crazy. As always, when we had Chuck D on the show, I always say the way he sets his rhymes off. And again, I'll spit a little bit. I got a letter from the government the other day. I opened and read it. They said they were suckers. They wanted me for their army or whatever. Picture me giving a damn. I said never. Here's a land that never gave a damn about a brother like me and myself, because they never did. I wasn't with it, but that very minute occurred to me. The suckers had authority. Cold sweating as I dwell in my cell. How long has it been? They got me sitting in the state pen. I got to get out, but the thought was lost before. I contemplated a plan on the cell floor. I'm not a fugitive on the run, but a brother like me begun to be another one. Public Enemy serving time. They drew the lie, y'all. They criticized me for some crime. Nevertheless, they could never understand that I'm a black man and I could never be a veteran. On the strength, my situation's unreal. I got a raw deal, so I'm going for the steal. You know what I mean? And that to me was just a crazy verse. I mean, this is 88. I'm only 14 years old. You know what I mean? So I didn't even understand at the time, like, okay, you go to jail if you don't go to war. Like, I didn't even understand the whole concept of that. But it was just crazy. And then the video was even crazier. You know what I mean? Because everybody was in the video. Kool Keith, EPMD. just a crazy video. And I just think that verse, I mean, everything the country's going through right now, who knows what it's gonna look like? You know, who knows if we're gonna go to war? Who knows what's gonna happen? So for me, that just was such an incredible verse right there. That was one for me. Any thoughts on that verse?
I mean, that's my favorite Public Enemy song, bro. You know what I'm saying? And the video was powerful. You know, Chuck D is a lot more vivid than people give him credit for. We've been having these discussions lately about lyricism. Chuck is a lyricist, and people think it's gonna be these multi-syllable metaphor rapidy raps. That don't always mean a great lyricist. You know what I'm saying? So Chuck delivered, and to me, like I said, this is an amazing song, man. And it's a history class doing what PE did. You know?
I mean, they were the ones that talked about, if I recall correctly, they were intentional about edutainment, right? If I recall, right. You know, Chuck saying that hip hop and rap is the CNN of the ghetto, right? Bringing you the news of what's going on. So, you know, like Tony was saying, what Chuck is giving. Again, Chuck, if I remember correctly, he was a little older, right, than a lot of the other cats around him, right? So his perspective that he's bringing you, right, in his rhymes, like he's gonna give you a little bit something more substantive, right, than say, you know, like we were just talking about LL before. You know, LL came out basically a kid, right? So I mean, anything that Chuck is gonna give you is gonna be substantive, no doubt.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. One of my favorite joints. Vay, what you got up next, bro?
All right, so my list is mostly old school. I'm gonna go with a verse on self-destruction, particularly Kool Moe Dee. Because when I was younger, you know, this shit really hit me, and it's a very short verse. Actually, I have it here. Took a brother's life with a knife as his wife, cried because he died from a trifling death. When he left, his very last breath was I slept, so watch his step. Back in the 60s, our brothers and sisters would hang. How could you gang bang? I never ever ran from the Ku Klux Klan, and I shouldn't have to run from a black
man.
When I heard that, as a youngin', I was like, oh shit, he's right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, like what he's saying now, when he did the interview with Willie D about drug dealers being the first sellouts, and him standing on that, and me thinking back to this verse, I'm like, yeah,
he's consistent.
He's consistent, and that verse should be in the Smithsonian for that reason, because it touches generations. It's not really just about his generation or his parents' generation. It even rings true now when you think about the things that are happening on the streets and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and that's a dope pick, bro, because I was never the biggest Moe Dee fan. Y'all know me. I love Moe Dee. It's no shade, but you know, I just think L won the battle or whatever like that. But I think at the day that verse, and like you said, Vega, I remember being a kid like, damn, that is crazy. Like, I never had to run from the Ku Klux Klan, so I shouldn't have to run from a black
man.
And when you really think about that, it's like, damn, that's how far we done fallen. Like, I'm getting chased from the train for my chain, or I'm getting chased from the store for Jordans. It's like, damn, you know, so very dope pick with that, man. Very dope pick. Tone, what you got up for your first joint, bro?
Man, I got to go back to Melly Mel verse on The Message, man, because that verse pretty much summed up the black experience at that time in the inner city. You know. All
right, now tell me this. This is why I love this show, because this is why I specifically said verses, because I got a verse too. So I'm intrigued to see what verse you got.
Well, mine is, and I won't read the whole verse, but it's just, mine is a child is born with no state of mind.
Oh man, you done got my joint.
Right.
Got mine, man.
So I know, man, great minds think alike.
Yeah, you're right.
I think that's one of the greatest verses in hip hop history, because it's one of the realest verses in hip hop history. Just, you know, it doesn't matter where you're from. It resonates the struggle of Black America at the time, after, you know, the crack epidemic starting and broken families started to manifest, and we used to have these two-parent homes and all this stuff. So the message is kind of giving you all of that. Because I just say one little piece though, just a child is born with no state of mind, blind to the ways of mankind. God is smiling on you, but he's frowning too, because only God knows what you go through. He said, you grow in the ghetto, live a second rate, and your eyes will sing a song of deep hate. And that goes to kind of what Mo D said. This deep hate now, this poverty and stuff now, we starting to point fingers at each other. And to this drug dealer talk, if I start selling dope, okay, I'm feeding my family, but I'm destroying yours. What Mo D is saying, this resonates with the message as well.
Right. Yeah. Nah, bro. I mean that was one of mine too. And I mean, to me, it's just, I remember hearing that song, and it was one of the few songs like my pop brought it. You know, my pop wasn't into hip hop. You know what I mean? My pop was the Sade, Freddie Jackson, Anita Baker boy. Like, he didn't buy hip hop at all. So, you know, for him to buy the 12-inch was huge. You know what I mean? And just like you said, I mean, even just to, you know, hit a little bit more, you know, you'll grow in the ghetto, living second rate, and your eyes will sing a song called Deep Hate. The place you play and where you stay looks like one great big alleyway. You'll admire all the number book takers, thug pimps, and pushers, and the big money makers. Driving big cars, spending 20 and 10s, and you'll want to grow up to be just like
them.
Just like them.
Like, what? I mean, this is the same thing, you know, smugglers, scramblers, burglars, gamblers, pickpocket handlers, even panhandlers. You say, I'm cool, I'm no fool, but then you wind up dropping out of high school. Now you unemployed, all 9 boy, walking around like you pretty boy Floyd turn stick up kid, but now look what you done did. Got sent up for an 8-year bid. Now your man has took, and you were made tax for the next 2 years as an undercover, being with them, being used and abused to serve just like hell, to one day you'll found hung dead in your cell. It was plain to see that your life was lost. You were cold and your body swung back and forth. And now your eyes sing the sad, sad song of how you were so fast and died so young. You know, and it's like, that's it, man. Like, I mean, again, you know, when you really think about it, I mean, what, this was 82?
Yeah, 82.
So this came out in 1982, bro, and I've been working in the hoods for the past 25 years, and it's the same thing, bro. It's the same exact thing. I was talking with one of my parents today about her daughters. I was like, yo, we got to sit down with your kids and find out why they're not going to school. Like, we got to figure this out. You know what I mean? Because, like you said, dropping out of school, like, this the same thing. And like you said, you'll want to grow up to be just like them, you know? So, again, I think the message is definitely, you know, not just a verse, but a song that needs to be in the Smithsonian for.
It's one of the most powerful rap songs ever written.
Yeah, period. Yeah.
Is it true? I've heard that it was the first, like, what we would call conscious or socially conscious. I don't know that to be a fact, but I know people have said that. Is that, or is it maybe just the one that was commercially popular, or is there anyone else before then that predates?
I'll say this, as far as an official release, that's the only thing that I know. Now, if somebody from the Bronx who's like 62 want to be like, nah, the Funky 4 plus 2 more, they did a joint called, you know, that was crazy, called Living in the Ghetto. Like, I don't know. To me, that was the first commercially released song that you could say was conscious. I mean, even in the video, I remember at the end when the talking is going on and the cops roll up on him like, yo, we part of Grandmaster Flash and Fierce Friday. They're like, what is that, a gang? Like, nah, we no gang. Like, nah, like, you know what I mean? So, and again, it's just, it's such a foretelling and such a powerful song. So, you know, that's dope. That's dope. Now, I was praying somebody had the first verse so we could connect the dots a little bit, but it's all good, bro. Don't mind. Liv, what's going on, good brother? What you got it for your first?
Well, you know, I feel a little something because that Kumo D joint on Self-Destruction was taken, so that's fine. We're gonna let that go. I'm gonna have a replacement, so we're gonna come back to that. Because me too, when I was that, just to reflect back on that verse, you know, I never ever ran from the Ku Klux Klan. I should nothing wrong from a black, like that song really. But I know we just talking about a verse, not a song. But those words hit me so hard as a kid that it helped shape my consciousness, right? I don't even mean like in like a oh, my consciousness. No, but I mean it shaped my thinking. You know what I'm saying? In terms of our role as black people in our community. But anyway, that was already taken. So, you know, as I was thinking about this, first of all, I'm a little mad about this question because it's so difficult. And it's difficult to isolate a verse without the context of the other verses around it, right? Because there's so many verses that in order to really appreciate that verse, you might have to appreciate what came before it or after it, or if it's a posse cut, like cool, you know what I'm saying, the vibe and energy. But I'm gonna stick to the rules. And one thing that just kept coming back to my head was Sugar Hill Gang, Rapper's Delight, and Wonder Mike. You know, even just him kicking it off. I said the hip hop, the hip to the hip hop, and you don't stop. The boogie to the bang bang, boogie to the up jump, the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what you hear is not a test. I'm rapping to the beat. And me, the groove, and my friends are gonna try to move your feet. See, I am Wonder Mike, and I like to say hello to the black, to the white, the red, and the brown, the purple, and yellow. But first, I gotta bang bang, a sugar to the boogie to up jump, the boogie to the bang bang boogie. Let's rock. You don't stop, rock the rhythm now to make your body rock. And now so far you've heard my voice, but I brought two friends along. And next on the mic is my man Hank. Come on, Hank, sing that song. Now, I really want to go into Big Bang Hank because that just jumps right. You know, I'm a CASN movie, right? But I think, like, for me as a kid, again, growing up, first of all, the beat is crazy because I know now Rogers, Chic, all of that. But the way they just kind of use that energy, and the way when Wonder Mike comes in and kicks off the song, he's bouncing off the energy of the beat. I feel like the wordplay that he's using. I know a lot of people say Sugar Hill Gang, you know, took other people's raps and, you know, Glory Robson and Sugar Hill Records, whatever. That's another conversation. But the way his wordplay, I feel like, set up so much for what came after. You know, even to set up the hip hop, the hibbit. When we talk about, I know you were talking about in the previous show about Das Effects, right? And how Das Effects uses wordplay. You know what I mean? And here he is, like, the bang bang boogie to up jump, the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat, right? And it's like it's that transition of like scatting from jazz coming into hip hop, rap, lyrical rhyme form. For me, like, this was the first song that as a child I didn't know what the song was, but every single time it came on, I had to listen to it. And then when I got to high school, I got the cassette tape with the 15-minute version, and I listened to it so much, I memorized every single word, every verse, every ad-lib off the 15-minute long version. But all of that is kicked off with Wonder Mike's energy and the way he's bringing it to the mic. And I saw in an interview, he said that they said they did that in one take. When they went to the booth, they did the Rapper's Delight. They did that in one take. So for me, if you're gonna have a Smithsonian exhibit of hip hop and rap songs, Wonder Mike's verse, Rapper's Delight, 15-minute version, Sugar Hill Records, you gotta have that.
No doubt, man. I love the fact that you said the 15-minute version. Yeah, you know I mean,
no doubt. 15 minutes. I remember that.
Yeah. You know, now somebody young boy out there is watching like 15 minutes. God damn, that's like an episode of Cosby Show. But you know, because these young boys used to like they songs be 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So you know what I mean. So, like you said, I'm glad you picked that version because for people watching, a lot of times there's different versions. I always tell people there's the regular bridges over, then there's the red alert bridges over with the like that is the one I need to hear. I don't want to hear the regular bridges over. If we don't hear red alert, nah, that ain't the right one that I want to hear. So definitely dope. Rem, what you got for your first joint, bro?
First one, Life of the Party. 3 Stacks verse. I'm not going to say the whole verse. I'm just going to say the intro line. Hey, Miss Donda, you run into my mama? Please tell her I said say something. I'm starting to believe ain't no such thing as heaven's trumpets. No after over it. This is it. Done. If there's a heaven, you would think they'll let you speak to your son. 3 Stacks could have approached this song from many different angles. His mom could have come to him in a dream. He could have said fear or something. But no, because he's on the song with Ye, the first thing is Miss Donda. What? Have you seen my mom? Because I'm trying to talk to her. Is there a heaven? Let me tell you something. For someone whose mom passed away in 95 and struggled with whether there was a heaven or not, nope. This is information. Smithsonian all day, every day.
I did that too, bro. I feel you.
He could have approached this in many different angles. As soon as he said, hey, Miss Donda, have you seen her? Can you give her this message? Because I ain't getting through to her. Is there a heaven to believe in? But once he brought in that whole heaven and ambiguity thing where we don't quite know, I said, yep, that's it for me. Done.
Yeah.
And the thing is, 3 Stacks would just pop up every so often and do this. Like it's nothing. And I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
To me, I felt that could have been the verse of the year when it came out in 21, the song of the year, because it was so powerful. But for me, that's why I chose this verse.
Nah. And I think that's an amazing thing, bro, because, you know, to me, that's what hip hop is supposed to do. It's supposed to speak to you. You know what I mean? It's supposed to, you know, resonate with you. It's supposed to, just watching you talk about it. You know what I mean? It shows how much it means to you, because like you said, of the struggles you went through with that. And again, that's what hip hop is supposed to do. Hip hop is supposed to talk to us through our struggles. Hip hop is supposed to be that voice with you while you're struggling. That's right there with you. You know what I mean? So, and I think it's an amazing verse. I don't know, with that Donda album, I think so. Ye was coming out with 8 releases of it, and he do version 1 with 30 songs, and he come back like, no, I changed it, 38 songs. So I think that's why a lot of people don't even know that verse. You know what I mean? Because it was so much hoopla with that album. But you are 100% correct that 3000 lost his mind with that.
Let me say this: if that Donda album, if this song was a reflection of that, like it had more songs centered around that album would have been out of here. It wasn't a great album ever. Yeah. But he's all over the place, right? Yeah. But that song, if every song in that joint was like composed like this, it would have been over. So yeah, I agree. It wasn't done well.
Right. Nah. So, but very dope song and very dope pick, bro. Well, what you got, good brother? Hey, by the way, real quick, did you know the Eagles won the Super Bowl?
Yo,
all right.
I did, but okay. I needed a reminder.
Just
like
a reminder.
Whenever it come across your mind, text me, call me, whatever. I always need that reminder.
I got you, bro. I got you.
Hey, so this is the good thing about hip hop, because I got a different verse from the same song that Vegas picked that I perceive the most powerful for me when I heard it from Self Destruction. That was Heavy D's verse, and it was just so relatable. You know what I'm saying? He was like, "Hey, yo, here's the situation: idiocy, nonsense, violence, not a good policy. Therefore, we must ignore fighting and fussing. Heaven's at the door, so there'll be no bum rushing. Let's get together because we're falling apart. I heard a brother shot another. It broke my heart. I don't understand the difficulty, people. Love your brother. Treat him as an equal. They call us animals. I don't agree with them. I prove them wrong, but right is what you're proving them. Take heed before I lead through what I'm saying, or we'll all be on our knees praying." You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, from what it was so relatable to me as a kid when I heard that. Like, that verse is the one that kind of stuck out to me, especially coming from him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like kind of a switch up, not a switch up, but it was just, I don't know, like the way I perceived him, I was just a huge fan of his. And when I heard him on that and heard him approach it like that, it was just, you know what I'm saying? It's just my favorite part of the album. You know what I'm saying? So that was my pick.
Yo, fam, that was such a dope joint. And then I loved how he said, you know, heaven's at the door, so there'll be no bum rush. And then they came in with the overweight lover horn.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Brown horn.
Yeah.
And just fed into it, you know what I mean? And when you really think about it, man, everything, so much in that song is just so crazy, because it's like, you know, I heard a brother shot another. It broke my heart. You know, I don't understand the difficulty, people. Like, it's not that hard. You know what I mean? Like, we ain't even talking rocket science. We talking just 1 + 1 = 2. Like, you know, love your brother, treat him as an equal. So, another very dope song. Next joint I got up, and for people watching, these are in no order. I'm just saying them. I got Rakim, My Melody. You know what I mean? And it's the third verse from My Melody. And the reason why I think this is so important is because for people who may not know the story, you know, number one, Eric B was supposed to be taking Freddie Fox to Marley's house. Freddie Fox wasn't around, so Rakim went with him, which is crazy, because just think about that. What if Freddie Fox went? Maybe we don't get Eric B and Rakim. Maybe we get Eric B and Freddie Fox. That damn sure ain't Eric B and Rakim. Yeah, that's no shot to Freddie. I don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke with Freddie Fox. But it's not the same as Rakim. You know what I mean? And then you're going to Marley's crib. Shan is there, who at that time, Shan is one of the biggest MCs out. and they're both like, him and Marley are like, yo, this ain't it, bro. Like, it's too slow. The way you rhyming ain't right. Like, yo, ain't nobody gonna fuck with this. Like, nah, do it like. And Rakim's like, yo, dog, nah, I'm doing it like this. Like, I paid for the studio time. Let me do what I want to do. Which to me is a huge testament to what I'm always teaching my teens and teaching the grown folk. Do what you believe in. Because what if Rakim would have said, like, oh, damn, that is MC Shan, like the bridge, like, okay, like, all right, how should I do it? What y'all think? Speed it up? Oh, okay, do it. Rakim, like, nah, my nigga, I'm doing it like this. You know what I mean? And you end up with, I'm not a regular competitor. First rhyme editor, melody arranger, poet, etc. Extra events, the grand finale like bonus. I'm the man they call the microphonist with wisdom, which means wise words being spoken. Too many at a time, watch the mic start smoking. I came to express the rap I manifest, stand in the way and I'll veto of the words protest. Like MCs, they wanna be this if they gonna be dissed if they don't get from in front of. All they can go get is me a glass of Moet. A hard time, sip your juice and watch a smooth poet. I take 7 MCs, put them in a line, and grab 7 more brothers who think they can rhyme. It'll take 7 more before I go for mine. Now there's 21 MCs, it up at the same time. Now I get it. For young folk watching, it's kill. What's the big deal? Like, what's the big when I heard that 7 MCs, man, that right there, you talk about a head explosion emoji. That was the craziest verse that I had heard up to that point. I'm just sitting there stuck, like, yo, who is this nigga? Like, you do, and again, it sounds simple, but like, yo, this nigga doing math. Niggas wasn't rhyming like this back in '86. You know what I mean? Dogs was not, because again, I can see a young boy saying, like, nigga, all he did was 777. That's 20. Well, like, bro, it just wasn't like that in '86. So again, like, and what I tell people, I never send people back to that year. If you want to understand Rakim, go back to like 83, 84. Right. And hear the way people were rhyming.
Should go to 85.
Go to 85. And then get to Rakim. Because I can't send you from K-Dot and J. Cole back to Rakim. I got to send you back further and then let you come into what Rakim was doing. So my melody, and like I said, just the fact that, you know, just again, and I love it just off the message of, like I said, when I'm talking to people, believe in whatever you believe in. You know what I mean? Because you may have a beautiful idea in your head about what you want to do, and people want, that wouldn't be a good idea. Believe in what you want to do. Because again, if this dude would have listened to MC Shan, like Vague, think about that as an MC, and Rel, think about that as an MC. You're a no name in the studio with MC Shan, and he's telling you, like, yo, you should do it like this, and you like, nah, nigga, I got this.
You know what? Hey, kid, you know what? Well, I was kind of thinking to myself, I'm already better than these niggas already. They just don't know until they listen to this, what I'm about to say.
Mm-hmm. Right. But I mean, that would literally be the equivalent of like if Vague and Rel was in the studio with like Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole, and they spitting their rhymes, and they like, nah, man, say it like this. And they like, nah, nigga, I'm doing it like that. Right. You know, like, this is what I do. Like, I respect, but my nigga, I got this. Right. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just a beautiful story of, like I said, that I share with people about, you just got to stand strong in what you believe in, no matter what nobody else says. Vague, what you got up next, bro?
Up next, I got Biggie, first verse, Juicy. What I liked about this, and why I think it should go in the Smithsonian, because you know, he kind of summed up a hip hop fan in a lot of ways, and hip hop's history to that point. You know what I'm saying? And for me personally, being from New York City, even things that we were doing in New York City, you know, obviously there's probably people doing some of the same things. But I'll say a couple of words. It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine, hanging pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, Rap Attack, Mr. Magic Marley Marl. I let my tape rock till the tape pop, smoking weed and bamboo, sipping on private stock way back when I had the red and black lumberjack with the hat to match. Remember rapping Duke, the ha, you never thought that hip hop would take it this far. I didn't like Juicy when I first heard it because of the beat, and what I was used to hearing from Big, like Best of Biggie was all we was playing up until that point. So rest in peace, Mr. C and Big. And his mother. But he made me think back to the pictures on the wall and Word Up magazine, and like, damn, we did do all of that. We did take, they had to start putting posters in the motherfuckers because we was ripping the pages out and putting them on our walls and shit. So it was just one of those things where I look at it as he's talking about his come up in the rap game, but he's kind of giving respect to hip hop radio, to hip hop publications like Word Up and Right On and stuff like that. So, and he did mention the Source, kids. There were other magazines before the Source. I just thought it was dope. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at that verse, as far as hip hop goes, before we hit 50 years to commemorate it, Big was doing that on Juicy back in the day. So before Nas also, because Nas does a lot of that, NJ. So it was pretty dope. So yeah.
Nah, dope verse. Tone, what you got up, bro?
Vague being a BK dude, I knew he was gonna take my verse and my song because it was literally next up right now. But here's the beautiful part. Talk about your proof with Juice. Well, man, for me, it's a hip hop dream. It's a song that is a kid growing up, man, looking at hip hop in New York and wanting to be a part of it. I think it's so dope when he said about Salt and Pepper and Heavy Dip in a limousine. We've been showing Hev name has come up a few times tonight, which I love it because you guys know I love Heavy D. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's just a dream. It's a perfect rap song. If you listen to it all the way through, it's just a perfect rap song, man. But I'll say my number. I have a backup also, but I'm gonna go with Slick Rick first verse on Children's Story. Because obviously, once upon a time, not long ago, you know what I'm saying? Like, anyone from that era know the entire song. I mean, Slick Rick was one of the most unique MCs in the history of the culture. I mean, nobody sounds like Slick Rick, even though I used to call Dana Dane the fake Slick Rick back in the day. But shout out to Dana Dane, you know what I'm saying?
But you know what? Thanks to Vague. Vegas cleared the air on that. Yeah, they cleared the air on that from an interview with Dana, where Dana was saying the Kango crew were from Jamaica and from London, and they wanted to sound like him. But just for people watching. So, and Dana was like, well, nah, it's more y'all than me, so let me try to sound like y'all. So that's why Dana went with that. Like, okay, well, no, is you from London, y'all two from Jamaica? Like, I like the way y'all sound. Instead of y'all trying to sound like me, I'ma just sound like y'all since it's three of y'all and just one of me, which really made me look at the whole situation different. So shout out to Vague for bringing that story to light too.
And straight from Dana Dane's. No, he the one who said it, and
that's still posted, man. I missed that.
Yeah, I could send you the video.
Yeah, do that, man. Do that. Yeah, man. I mean, I think Children's Story is a perfect rap song. I think it makes people smile now when they come on. You could be in the club right now or any kind of event, and you hear a Children's Story come on, and you automatically remember the video, the dance, and just the vibe and everything, man. It's just, and that first verse is just, if you know the song, you know that song, that verse word for word. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's mine, Slick Rick.
That's it, man. Love the video version too. They called it what was it called? The it was I forgot the name of the remix, but the video version is the version I love too. Knock 'em Out the Box. That's what it's called. The Knock 'em Out the Box remix to it. Love that joint. Yeah. What you got up next, bro?
Knock 'em out the box, right? I'm all right. I'm gonna have to just keep getting backups because people just keep. I was thinking about Children's Story.
But speak a little bit about what it means to you. Like, that's what I love about this.
Well, it's funny because for me, just to get hopefully not to get too deep with it, but I'm from Harlem, but every school that I went to was outside my neighborhood because my parents wanted me to get a good education. So oftentimes I was, around white kids. And even in high school, I went to a private boarding school on a scholarship. And so for a long time in my life, it's almost like, am I not black enough? Is hip hop, is like this other thing? Because, is it got to be street? But when I think about some of these songs from like my childhood, like Children's Story, like you say, every word, you know what I'm saying? Oh, they the dope feet shooting dope who don't know the meaning of water or so, you know what I mean? And it's just how some of these things are ingrained in you. So Children's Story for me, it evokes the lyricism, the wordplay, storytelling. Slick Rick is unmatched in his storytelling, of course, but that makes me think about block parties. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like block parties where it'd be in the summertime and the kids is playing and they got a DJ hooked up to the light post. You know what I'm saying? Someone's, just, makeshift grills, you know what I'm saying? Where people just flipping burgers or whatever like that. And there was just community. And so when I think about Children's Story as a song, it reminds me of summertime in Harlem as a kid. And that connects to that culture, that is something that's within me, that's something within us. So, not to get too deep with it, but you know what I mean? Like, even, just every, like you said, when you start Uncle Ricky, you know what I'm saying? As soon as you hear that Uncle Ricky, you already know what it is, you know what I mean? So that's a dope pick. I think for my next pick, I'm gonna go to a good brother named Lecrae. I don't know how many people heard Lecrae. He's, considered like a gospel rapper, a Christian rapper, even though he would say he's just a rapper who happens to rap about Jesus. But he had this album that came out around 2016, 2017 called All Things Work Together. And that was, if y'all remember in that time frame, that was after a number of police killings of Black people. That was the 2016 was coming is the election. People were marching in the streets for justice and that kind of thing. And Lecrae, as a rapper, had often kind of been identified with kind of like the evangelical Christian community, which is a predominantly white space. And on this, and so he started talking about social justice issues, and got shunned by that community. And so on this album, All Things Work Together, which comes from the Bible verse, all things work together for the good of those who love God, those are called according to his purpose. And so there's a song on this album called Can't Stop Me Now. And I'll just, and it's not that long. So maybe I could spit it a little bit. But he said, last year I was feeling hopeless. I just wanted it to end. People stealing money from me, man. I swear I thought that we was friends. And I was so depressed. I was such a mess. I couldn't shake it off. Another murder on the television. Man, somebody go turn it off. I spoke with my mom, got attacked for it. They thought these people had my back for it. They're telling me I asked for it. I guess I'm just another Black boy. And then they killed Tamir Rice. And they just go on with their life. They're telling me stop talking about it. Like I should just talk about Christ. But the truth started to doubt God. I started to question my purpose. I started to act out. I didn't want to sign another autograph, forgive us, make smile. Doctor telling me that a man died, I almost had a break. Doctor told me my man died, I almost had a breakdown. And it's just like, just that rawness, right? Just that rawness of like, you want me to sing and dance for you. And again, for me, I guess I'm connecting it to also my own experiences being in predominantly like white spaces. And you want me to be this image of who you think I should be as a Black man. But then when I use my own voice, now all of a sudden it's a different story. And so and so it speaks to what was going on in that moment in time in the US. It speaks to how hip hop gives voice, right? It gives voice to pain, right? We could have a party song like Rapper's Delight, right? We could have a song, like Juicy, which is chill, but tells the story of the hip hop dream. And we can have a song from someone who's saying, okay, you told me to rap about God all the time, but my brothers are dying in the street. Like, I'm not supposed to talk about that. And so for me anyway, I feel like that is something that's definitely a verse that I would put for its context and its meaning in my Smithsonian.
No doubt. You said the name of the album was All Things Work Together?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, the song is called Can't Stop Me Now. The specific song is called Can't Stop Me Now.
And Lecrae nice, man.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. I definitely want to tap in. I want to tap into that. Rim, what you got up next, bro?
Number 2, coming at number 2. Nas, I Gave You Power. My body is cold steel for real. I was made to kill. That's why they keep me concealed. Under car seats, they sneak me in clubs. Been in the hands of mad thugs. That's why they load me with mad slugs. 17 precisely, one in the head. They call me Desert Eagle. Semi-auto was led. Oh
man,
I was in college in '96 writing. Like, I'm a rapper. y'all can't. I heard that, and I said, you know what? I'm just gonna get my degree. I didn't even call it. It's bad enough that Nas had rappers on their heels, established, aspiring at the live barbecue, then halftime drop, and then the album Nomadic. But this song, where you rapping from the POV of a stop it, and fair enough, Organized Confusion did Straight Bullet, so it's kind of like a piggyback off of it. But I gave you power when that dropped. I just was it brilliant. Just masterful on so many levels. I'm like, yeah, that opening verse, that's it for me. It's done.
Nah, I agree with you wholeheartedly, man. Whenever I'm working with my teams, you know, let them play me something that they rock with. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. Let me play you something. Now, Nas' I Gave You Power and Nas' Rewind are two joints I throw at them. And it's always kind of like I let them listen to it and they're like, oh, snap, Mr. Kill's like, he's a gun. And then I'm like, yeah, can your favorite rapper do that? And they be like, nah. You know what I mean? So it's like, again, like as soon if I diss they people, then the wall goes up. But I'm gonna let you listen to who my heroes are and just ask you, like, can your favorite rapper do that? And it's like, I've been working with kids for 25 years, and since that joint came out, not one teen has ever told me, yeah, my favorite rapper could do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because that's how, like you said, Grim, that's how masterful. That right there is a master class in writing. You know what I mean?
How many MCs have a rewind in them? Let's just be honest. It may be 4. Right. It's that, and I'm being lenient.
Here's the funny thing. I forgot who sent it to me. And it's like why I always tell people, you can't tell me you won't learn something new on Apartment 5B, because I know I learn something new every week. Someone sent me, it was from Nas's masterclass, and he was talking about how Rewind got made. And he said Large Pro had made the beat, and he had writer's block, and he couldn't come up with anything. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to just write a song backwards. Like, this was on some old, I'm going to just do it. Like I got, how do you have writer's block and come away with Rewind? Like, at a point that I'm like, yo, is this nigga capping? Like, yo, for real, nigga. Like, is that like, but I'll take you for your word, but that's crazy that you got writer's block and can't come up with anything. And you like, yo, I'm going to just write a rhyme back, telling the story backwards, but then I have to say things backwards. And then you come away with that. Like, that's some next level right there. So, again, you know, when I play it for my kids, they like, yo, that don't make no sense. Outside right, what the hell your man talking about? I'm like, say it backwards. It's like, we right outside. They be like, oh shit, he's saying it back. I was like, yeah, nigga, he's saying it backwards. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? So, great pick. I Gave You Power to me is definitely. What you gonna say, Talib?
Can I speak on that real quick? Yeah. So I kid you not. So on my dissertation, for my doctoral dissertation, I wrote about evidence-based policy and community-based violence prevention. And Kill, you might appreciate this. What happened was, what I said is that when it comes to community-based violence prevention, funders, academics, people, you know, practitioners use evidence as a weapon, right? To say, oh, my thing is evidence-based. And I literally, in my method, situation analysis, you name what the situation is based on your findings. And the name I gave the situation is I Gave You Power. Because just how Nas is the rapper from the perspective of the gun is telling the shooter, I gave you power, right? Similarly, when we talk about the work that we do in community-based violence prevention, people go around and use evidence and research, and it's like, I gave you power. The evidence gave you power. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, anyway. So I just wanted to speak on that real quick, because that for me, I quoted the chorus in my dissertation. You know, how you like me now, I go blah, which the smooth foul, making every ghetto foul. Anyway, I gave you power, I made you buck. Anyway, so I just wanted to speak on that because it has some specific resonance even to the work that I do.
Nah, that's dope. And we gonna get
song. I'm sorry.
No. Keep going, Tom.
No, I was just saying. Excuse me. I was just saying. Just the title of the song, I Gave You Power. You just the title alone. I remember first, going to the store buying. It was written. Obviously, now it's my favorite MC. So I get the joint and I'm looking at the back, reading the name of the songs. I'm like, Gave You Power. You know what I'm saying? So I get down to that song, man, and at the end of the song, I feel what happened until I feel somebody else grab me. Damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, the cycle continues again. I give another cat some power to cause havoc on the community, yo.
You could have made a part 2 for that alone. That end.
Yeah. And it's crazy. And we're gonna get into some of the work that Talib did and how we ran into each other, because he's doing some incredible work back in NYC. We're gonna talk about the new hood that he's working on. It's an amazing thing. So we're gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to you, Rel, and then we're gonna go and talk to Talib for a little bit. But Rel, what you got up next, bro?
I got Andre 3000 last verse, Elevators. I think you can't, have the Smithsonian without South representation. And I know for me, being from Philly, this verse was the first, like, I thought they was dope, but this verse was the first one when I was like, you know what? Like, because you know how we look at everywhere else back then about, as far as like lyricism, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this was when I was like, you just gotta give it up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he on that level. He one of them ones, you know what I'm saying? And he was just like, got stopped at the mall the other day, heard a call from the other way that I just came from. Some nigga was saying something, talking about smoke something. Hey man, you remember me from school? No, not really. But he kept smiling like a clown, facial expression looking silly. He kept asking me, what kind of car you drive? I know you paid. I know you got buku of hoes from the songs that y'all have made. And I replied, I've been going through the same thing that he has. True, I got more fans than the average man, but not enough loot to last me to the end of the week. I live by the beat like you live check to check. If it don't move your feet, then I don't eat. So we like neck to neck. Yes, we done came a long way like them slim ass cigarettes from Virginia. This ain't gonna stop, so we just gonna continue. And I just remember hearing that, and I'm just like, yeah, this dude this group. This group is one of them ones, because I don't want to, act like Big Boy some slouch or something. But I just remember that verse stuck out, you know what I'm saying, to me, and I'm like, yeah, this is they here, they official. Like, that South got something to say. This is it right here,
Rel, thank you so much for making that correction and adding Big Boy. It drives me
always.
Up. It drives me up the walls. It drives me up the walls when people put disrespect on Big Boy's name. Big Boy is nice. He's been nice. Stop it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that it's like that, because you listen to the albums, it's like you would think he on there getting washed or something. I'm like, what the hell are y'all listening to? You know what I mean?
Gotta send a shout out. Gotta send him out. Shout out to my man Scartosio, the new Outcast joint that he got out here. This joint is crazy. Wow. The Big Boy Andre 3000 joint, the ATLian joint, very very dope. If you ain't up on Scartosio, check him out. A lot of crazy joints out there, but there's that Cash joint I had to pull down for that right there. Got Big Boy rocking the 5s, one of my favorite pair of Jordans. Got him in the 5s, so that's crazy. Yeah, bro, man, I remember.
Text me back.
Yeah, no doubt. I got you. I was on Lincoln Drive with my man Jayzo, and Power 99 played that joint. And bro, when I heard that, I live by the beat. Like, if you don't move your feet, then we like neck to neck. Like, bro, I was like, yo, I quit. Like, and I don't even rap, and I quit. You know a nigga nights when you don't even do something and you quit. Like, I was just like, yo, like, it's official. Cast is.
Think about what he's saying. Like, think about like so many MCs like talk and put themselves in a certain place where they're like above you or look down on you or better. He's saying, yo, we the same, bro. Like, I got, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't make this, then I don't eat. You know what I'm saying? The same way
I don't eat.
It was hella relatable. You know what I'm saying?
And I loved how he started off like it was like a conversation, like some boy said to me, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like conversational tone. So I love that. So let's talk a little bit about the new hood. Now, for people out there, some people know that I've been in an amazing program for the past 4 months. CVILA is Community Violence Interrupters. learning academy. It's put together by my guy, Dr. Chico Tillman, and his crew out the University of Chicago for the past, it'll be for 5 months. I get together and I like to look at it as like I'm with 30 other people from across the country who do the type of work that I do, working with teens, working with violence prevention. It's like an all-star team. And we get together. Talib was one of our presenters, and he was presenting on everything he was just talking about, like analysis, all the stuff I'm still learning. Like this dude was teaching me, because I got a whole project I got to put together, and I got to submit it tonight at midnight. You know what I mean? To be in on time. And it's due tonight. So me and my advisor are texting right now back and forth. But just talk a little bit about the work you're doing with the New Hood, what it's like, where they can get at you, just everything for us.
Yeah, thank you for the time. Can y'all hear me? I think my connection was a little bit choppy.
No.
I'm still coming
good.
through. You can
You
hear
good.
me?
You good. No,
okay, dope. I appreciate the opportunity to speak on the New Hood, which is my baby that I'm building. And it's a community-based policy center. It's a think tank. We develop community-based public policy to build thriving Black and Brown urban neighborhoods. And where it comes from is, again, just being a kid growing up in Harlem at the time. It was the crack epidemic, right? And everybody was like, you got to get out the hood. You got to get out the hood. And I was like, but why we got to get out the hood? Why can't we stay here and like build a new hood for ourselves? As I got older, I realized that the things I was seeing in my community, from it was crack, shootings, just the way the abandoned. I mean, Harlem now is different. I mean, but then you had the bombed out, abandoned buildings, just like blocks of nothing, right? Just like these empty lots. And I learned as I got older that those things did not happen by accident, right? People did not just become addicted to drugs by accident. Buildings were not abandoned by accident, right? Crime was not high in my neighborhood by accident. My parents were not forced to send me to school outside my neighborhood, because with the schools being what they were, this was not by accident. There were intentional decisions made. And those decisions are what we call public policy. So then I was like, well then, who makes public policy? Then I come to find out, as I going through my life and my career in my 20s now, that a lot of times people who are policymakers, whether they're in Washington, D.C., whether on the state level or the city level, a lot of times they may be in a policy-making position, but they're not policy experts. They don't have the policy ideas. They get that from somebody else. They get that from think tanks and academics and research centers. And I was like, well, wait a second. Well, who's the research center for us? Like, who's representing our... And I'm looking at Harlem change from when I was a kid to bombed out buildings to now $1 million condos. I'm like, how that happened? Right? How that happened? So now I'm like, okay, well then, if these situations are the result of intentional public policy, some of these public policies are direct output from think tank and research centers, then we need our own think tanks and research centers. So in 2016, when I was enrolling for my doctoral program, to have a master's and a doctorate in public policy, I said I want to start a think tank, but I don't want to just call it like the Black People's Public Policy Think Tank. I want to have a different kind of vibe to it. So that's why the name The New Hood, because it's a play off the New School, which is the university where I got my degrees from, and where the New Hood is based out of. But also the name itself says, the name itself is like a challenge, right? Like, because it makes you wonder, what is the New Hood? Like, what does that mean? What is the hood? What is the hood? What does that mean to me? What does that mean to you? So the name is meant to be provocative. So met at the CVI LA session. Kim Smith, who was one of the people who runs that, asked me to come in and do a workshop on theory of change and logic models. And I was blessed to have the opportunity to be in front of 31 dope people from around the country who are doing 31 dope people who are doing violence prevention work in our communities around the country, and just try to, share a little bit of light and knowledge of things that I've learned along the way on theory of change, logic models. How do you, really think systematically about the work that you're doing? So I could go on and on, but I don't want to, I don't want to take up all the podcast. I could go on and on, but I want to, so I'm just cut it down unless you got other questions or prompts something.
No. But give them where can they
before me yank me off.
Nah. But websites where can they get at you? What do you need from people? Like, how can they become involved in it?
Oh, thank you, no doubt. So the website is thenewhood.org. That's THENEWHOOD.org. Thenewhood.org. That's the website. You can go check it out. There are plenty of ways for people to get involved. We're gonna have a street team. Again, like I said, we're gonna bring that same hip hop aesthetic and hip hop flow. When Kweli came out with Eardrum, I know a lot of people don't remember that, but I'm Kweli fan. So Kweli came out with Eardrum, and I was on the Eardrum street team. So they sent me a packet of like home cards and stickers. So I'm out in the street fairs, like, yo, you heard that new Kweli? Like, I'm passing out stuff. So just like that, we need people on our street team. It might be digital, right? But like, which means like promoting our work that we're doing, sharing and liking social media posts. Just like you pump an artist, right? Help pump our work. Because what we're trying to do is we incubate the policy ideas of people in the hood, educate people in the hood on policy and government, and elevate the voices and perspectives of people from the hood in the policy space. So what we're doing is trying to amplify other people's work. So when you amplify us, you amplify other people in the hood. So anybody could be down on the street team if that's what you're about. You can just holler at me. My email is Talib, TALIB @thenewhood.org. We always could use financial contributions. It's a nonprofit. It's just it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And air don't pay the rent. So we can always give a contribution. As a matter of fact, we are having a Giving Day campaign, which is the big Giving Day is tomorrow, Friday, March 7th. So if you want to go ahead and donate, if you go to thenewhood.org, there's a donate button, and you could drop a financial contribution there. Or even if you just want to show some love and just be like, yo, brother, I hear what you're doing. That looks dope. Because sometimes when you're doing work that's a little not conventional, sometimes you start to feel like maybe I'm different, right? Like when I first started talking about this idea about a think tank and public policy, people be like, what's that? Like, what you talking about? So check us out, thenewhood.org. Come and join the street team. Shoot me an email. My boy Billy, who's all coordinating that, will hit you back. And that's how we could. We're gonna be having some webinars coming up. So sign up for our newsletter, because that's how you stay on top of what we're doing. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Blue Sky. We're on Instagram. I was on Twitter, but you know what happened with that. So Blue Sky, Instagram, LinkedIn, holla at us.
All right. Here's the thing. People, we getting back to hip hop. Just wait with me for a minute, because what I need people to understand is how important the work that he is doing. And I get it. Most of us don't even know what policy is. Trust me, before I got into the CVI Academy, everything he's saying sounded like another language to me. Theory of change, SWOT analysis. Right. I was like, I don't know what y'all are talking about. So I know there's some people out there watching, and this is over your head. No harm, no foul with that. But if you can, just briefly tell us, why is policy so important? I know you spoke about it, because like you said, it's always been this thing of getting out the hood, but there's something about public policy that can help us make our neighborhoods better. Why do we have to leave where we've already built up? Why do we have to leave where our parents have already put so much into this neighborhood, this house, this block? Why do we have to leave that? So Talib, if you could kind of just break it down and really simplify it for somebody who may not be up on politics and all that stuff. And again, I challenge everybody listening. I challenge everybody who's on the panel with us. Right now, more than ever, we have to be paying attention. If you've never paid attention to what's going on in Capitol Hill and CNN and what's going on in the world, you have to pay attention now. So Talib, if you could just briefly take us why it's so important.
Yes, I love this question so much, because man, listen, and you might have to pull my mic. Just mute me if I get, because I get so passionate about this, because it's connected to hip hop, right? Because hip hop is about. I think about it like this, right? There's 6 of us here, right? Now think about it, like we're having a discussion, like we in a cipher, right? We could be maybe so let's say we rhyme, we in a cipher, and you say you pass the mic. Someone spits their verse, you pass the mic. Someone spits your verse, you pass the mic, right? And that cipher continues, right? And that's how we vibe, we get energy from that, right? Well, democracy is like the same thing. It's a cipher, right? It's a cipher. But the trick is that there are people who don't want you in the cipher. They don't want you in the cipher. So what they do is they tell you, you know what? Nah, your lyrics is whack. Nah, you can't really rap with me. Or, nah, you don't really understand this or whatever like that. So, you know what I'm saying? Or they try to rap with such, you know what I'm saying, multiple entendres. Like Tony was saying earlier, when really all you need is a Chuck D verse. You don't need 3 stacks. 3 stacks is beautiful, but sometimes Chuck will hit you with it, right? So what I'm saying is democracy and participation in our civic process is a cipher, and we have to join the cipher. We have to get involved. It don't even have to be on the federal. It don't even got to be with the president and all like that, right? That's important. But just in terms of on your very local level, the people who have the most power to impact you are the people on your local level of government. I'm talking about your mayor, your city council, your state representatives, because criminal laws are made at the state level. So if you like, yo, why my man go up top? Because he got caught with whatever, right? Well, who made the law, right? It's no king. It comes from people in government. Well, how they get there? Who told them what to do? Where was their idea from, right? And the trick is to have people not engage and not participate. And that's one of the reasons why I love the message, right? Because we have so much policy and social thought that we're talking about that we don't even realize we're talking about. Broken glass everywhere, people pissing in the stairs, so they just don't care. I can't take the smell, I can't take the noise. You're talking about issues in your community, but now how do you change that, right? You know what I'm saying? All we just talked about self-destruction, right? So this is why policy is important. It doesn't even have to be at a level, at a city, in a place maybe you've never been to, but just as simple as who's picking up the garbage on my street. That's a policy decision. New York City in the 1970s intentionally withdrew public services from the Bronx, intentionally closed firehouses, intentionally, because they said we got to save money. So instead of closing the firehouses in the Upper East Side where the rich people are, we're gonna close it in the Bronx. You heard, oh, the Bronx is burning, because people were setting the buildings on fire to recoup the insurance money, and the fire department wasn't there, which then led to bombed out buildings, which led to the birth of hip hop. You feel me? Like, if you think about it, in the 1960s, I'm gonna say this one last thing. I'm gonna get off I'm actually gonna teach a course. I'm a part-time faculty member at the New School. I'm gonna teach a course in the spring of 26 called Urban Policy and Hip Hop that traces the development of hip hop along the same lines of federal urban policy from the 1960s to the present. Because you look at what happened in the 60s, right? The Civil Rights Movement, the Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act. Black folk like, oh, we about to come up now, right? We could vote now. We getting jobs now. We got affirmative action now. We got housing now, right? We can live in the suburbs now, right? And then that was in the 60s, right? There was money coming from the government into the community, from the federal government. People like, oh, remember I used to have a community center when I was a kid. Oh, remember when I was a kid, the pool used to be open. When I was a kid, yeah, because that was part of the Great Society program. Community action agencies. That was intentional. HEOP. Oh, how them kids, how you got that scholarship, how Pops and Grandpa got the scholarship to go to college in the hood. Oh, higher education opportunities program. Oh, because we got to take these kids out the hood because they burned up the cities and take them off to college in the 60s. But then what happened in the 70s, the federal government pulled that money back. And they said, we're not doing this no more. Y'all had enough. We done with it. As a matter of fact, what we're seeing today in 2025 is a direct result from what was going on in 1965. So when you think about hip hop and hip hop being born in the Bronx, what was going on in the 70s in the Bronx at that time, right? It was a direct result of us coming up as a people and then having those resources pulled. And then you think about what's going on, popping off at the West Coast, right? Because you had started to have the rise of the crack epidemic and law enforcement and money going to law enforcement because crime was going up to come and basically enforcing on cities on our people. And so hip hop was the music and the language and the culture that was giving voice to what was going on. So policy and hip hop are not these two different things. Policies, you could call it, you can make it fancy over here, but hip hop is telling you what the results of policies are. And if we listen, hip hop will give you the prescription for what we need to go forward in the future. But I'm gonna leave it there because I'm gonna get on my soapbox. I'm gonna stop right there. I got it.
All right, but we got it. Check them out. thenewhood.org. Donate. Become part of the street team. Again, this is some important stuff. Very intelligent brother, good brother. Had to bring him on, not just about hip hop, but I also want to use this platform to educate folk about how we can stop moving out the hood and we can make where we live and where we grew up something that we still want to live in. But back to the program, I'm going with Nas, New York State of Mind. Man, rappers I monkey flip them with the funky lyrics I be kicking. Musician, inflicting composition of pain. I'm like Scarface, sniffing cocaine, holding an M16. See with the pen I'm extreme. Now, bullet holes left in my peepholes. I'm suited up in street clothes. Hand me a 9 and I'll defeat foes. Y'all know my stilo, the flow with or without the airplay. I sip some E&J, been up in the stairway, or either on the corner betting grants with the CeeLo champs, laughing at bass heads, trying to sell some broken amps. G-Packs get off quick forever, niggas talk shit. Reminiscing about the last time the task force flipped, niggas be running through the block shooting. Time to start the revolution, catch a body head to Houston. Once they caught him off guard, the Mac 10 was in the grass, and I ran like a cheetah with thoughts of an assassin. Picked the Mac up, told brothers back up, the Mac spit, lead was sitting, niggas one ran, I made him backflip. Heard a few clicks, scream, my arm shook, couldn't look, gave another squeeze, heard it click, yo, my shit is stuck. Tried to cock it wouldn't shoot, now I'm in danger. Finally pulled it back and saw through bullets caught up in the chamber. So now I'm jetting through the building lobby, and it was full of children, probably couldn't see its eyes. I see, so what you saying? It's like the game ain't the same. Got young as niggas pulling they triggers, bringing fame to their name and claim some corners. Crews without guns are goners. In broad daylight, stick up kids, they run up on us. 4 or 5 engages, max and facts. Them niggas still catch you back to back, scratching the crack and black. I mean, I didn't realize how long this goddamn verse was, but just an example. I'm like, goddamn, this shit ain't over yet. I'm still going. I'm running out of breath.
He's in the zone, man.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, and I love the story how it was true when he said when it starts with, yo, I don't know how to start this shit. Like he ain't even know how to start it. And Preem was just recording and just went into it. But the first time I heard it, I mean, I think New York State of Mind is just a perfect hip hop song. It's just perfect. It's just the beat, everything is still, I mean, when Nas was doing, what was those vague Hennessy commercials? And it was like on a train or something. It still sounds just as good now as it did back in 93, 94. And I just loved it because it was like it was almost like you could close your eyes and you see the hood, you know, laughing at bass heads trying to sell some broken amps. It's like, look at these niggas over here. You know what I mean? Running through the lobby, like all of that. So and it's just one of the verses, like you could just close your eyes and just listen and just kind of see everything playing out to just, you know, how great Nas is. So, you know, definitely got that. Vay, what you got for number 3, bro?
All right, for number 3, I'm gonna go with Tupac. First verse, I ain't mad at you. What I liked a lot about it was Tupac has a history of talking about things that are common to us, but don't necessarily always get mentioned in hip hop. Like Brenda's Got a Baby. I remember like, damn, this is a song? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
It was something that was happening. Like it was happening in my family and people I knew's family and stuff like that. As far as, you know, teenage pregnancy. But when I first heard the lyrics to I Ain't Mad at You, I was like, oh, this is dope. Because this is different. You know what I'm saying? This is like counterculture to what we were accustomed to at that point in time, even from Tupac, when it came to gangster rap. So he says, now we was once 2 brothers of the same kind, quick to holler at a hoochie with the same line. You was just a little smaller, but you still rolled. Got stretched to YA and hit the hood swole. Remember when you had a Jerry curl, didn't quite learn. On a block with your Glock tripping off Sherm. Collect calls to the crib saying, how you changed? Oh, you a Muslim now. No more dope game. Heard you might be coming home, just got bail. Want to go to the mosque, don't want to chase tail. It seems I lost my little homie. He's a changed man. Hit the pen and now no sinning is the game plan. When I talk about the money, all you see is the struggle. When I tell you I'm living large, you tell me it's trouble. I mean, come on, brother, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is brother who grew up. Both of them grew up in the hood. One dude got, locked up. He come home, he kind of changed his life. His man's still in it, right? Full, completely 100%. But I thought Tupac did a good job of playing the guy who was still outside while also acknowledging that his friend was growing and changing. And especially that line about what do you say? When I talk about money, all you see is the struggle, right? It's kind of a lot of what Talib was just saying, right? It's sort of like changing your thought pattern, how you see things, right? Like, I'm getting this money, blah, blah, blah. But his man was seeing the deeper scheme behind getting money and the effects of what he was doing in the neighborhood and all that shit. So when I heard that verse alone, I was like, oh, this song different. Yeah, like this is consciousness on a real level that we can all relate to and learn from. And it was just ironic that it came out, or at least the video, after Tupac died. But yeah, I think he got a million verses, but this is one I think could go in the Smithsonian.
Yeah, bro. And then the video, like just on top of that, the video was just airy, with Bokeem Woodbine in it. It was just like an airy. I mean, when you really think about it, Big Impact, both their deaths was just crazy airy. When you look at things like that, like how you shoot a video of you dying and now you in heaven and then you die, like that's just crazy to me. So it's crazy. What you thinking, Tom?
Man, I mean, Pac, I've been posting Pac lyrics for the last day or so, just giving some people some insight who might only know some of his more popular songs. When his verses, man, they stick like glue, man. And he's probably the most relatable MC in the culture. Just you feel him. That's why people gravitate a whole lot to the DMX and people like that, because you got a song like Slippin' and shit like that. It's reminiscent of something that Pac would say, and it's like, that's it hits home different. You know what I'm saying? Because it's bigger than just some type of lyrical thing that you might like. It's touching, man. You know what I'm saying? And the energy is so real. Just the way Vague was breaking it down just now, you forgot that even outside of the thug life stuff, Pac was super conscious. You know what I'm saying? You would get, blasphemy, but then you get white man's world. You know what I'm saying? So it was just reminiscent of the way he delivered his rhymes, man, and you just feel it, literally.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, song, because everybody knows I'm not a big Pac fan. I mess with Pac, but I'm not a big Pac fan. It's funny because one of my young boys actually had to school me, and he was like, yo, why, boy from Milwaukee, he was like, Kill, why you don't like Pac? I'm like, man, this nigga all over the place. 1 minute is this, 1 minute is that. He was like, Kill, no disrespect. Like 1 minute you reading the Bible, the next minute you cursing us out, or you reading the source, and it kind of was just like, damn, like you right, like you know what I mean, like how yeah, like, and I was like, and I told boys this on Twitter the other day. We was talking about something, and I was like, yo, I'm wrong, and he was like, damn, you admit it? I was like, nigga, I'm past that. I'm 50, y'all. If I say something wrong or if I do something wrong, I got no problem being like, I'm wrong, like And that was the thing. I was like, yo, like, and this is why I love talking with the youth, because I learned so much from them. He had a great point. I would come to work all in my Bible, let my team mess up. Yo, what the fuck are y'all doing? They're like, God damn, nigga, wasn't you just reading Acts a minute ago? Like, so the Pac thing, when he said that, it's like, yo, but Pac just represents you as a man. Yeah. And it's kind of like that conversation with him changed the way I look at Pac. And that's when I really started listening to Pac more with open ears. And again, so much of this is when they were young. Well, Pac died, he wasn't even 26, right?
He was 25.
25. So we got to keep in mind, and people got to remember, I was a young boy. You know what I mean? And me and Rel will tell you to the point. This whole East Coast, West Coast world, it was like, yo, I'm with Big. I ain't listening to nothing Pac got to say. Like that, I want to hear nothing. That's how deep we were. That's one of the reasons me and Rel connect. We talk like not just because we from Philly together, because people be thinking, they be like, yo, Kill, you be up there with all your friends from Philly. I'm like, nigga, these ain't my friends from Philly. You know what I mean? I met Rel on Twitter. I met Tone on Twitter. I met Rim on Twitter. They the only nigga I went to school with, like, really know me. So that's the thing. But we just connect, and that was the thing. And that when that war was going on, I was like, nah, I ain't listening to nothing Pac said. I ain't listen to Machiavelli when that shit dropped. I was like, yo, that's the enemy. That's the enemy. That's how hard I was riding with Big. Like, yo, if I'm a loyal nigga, and this how fucked up I am when it comes to hip hop. Like, nigga, if you fucking with Big, I ain't fucking with you. You know what I mean? And it's that simple. Like, and that may sound crazy, but that's how deep entrenched I was in the hip hop. That it's like, yo, if you taking shots at Big and you talking about fucking a boy wife, no, I ain't listening to your shit. No, you know what I mean? So I know Talib is funny, but it's the truth. I'm just a real dude. Like, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. It sounds crazy, but
you made me think about Hit 'Em Up, the infamous opening line, which I will not repeat. But that every time I hear that, I'm like, how you gonna say something like that to somebody?
Right, but like to this day, I was like, nah. So it took me years to be like, all right, let me listen to Pac. Like, let me hear Pac. You know what I mean? Just how deep. And when I met Rel, he was saying the same shit. I'm like, yo, kindred spirits, bro, kindred spirits. But Pac is like that, man. Pac is really that dude. And like you said, I think what we have to do is we just have to sometimes change our definition of words. And I always tell people people have different definitions for the same word. And so, and I will be honest to say, with my definition, it is, when I think of lyricist, I'm thinking lyrical miracle, triple double entendres. But I love what you're saying, because your definition isn't even about any of that. It's the message that's in it that comes out. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm always telling people. Once we understand and we can speak the same language, there's no reason to argue. There's no reason to debate, because I understand what you're saying and you understand what I'm saying. You know, and that's when the communication can start happening. You're always bumping heads, because it's like, a lyricist is this to me, and I don't know what it means to you. So it's like, well, how can you tell me Pac is a lyricist? Because in my mind, Pac has to do these 5 things, and he doesn't do those. So that's why I think it's so important for people to really think about, like, what are you defining? You know, on Twitter this week, I started all this shit because I was like, so I said something like, Snoop only probably has about 7 to 8 hits, and the West Coast lost their goddamn mind. You know, and I'm like, y'all gotta understand, my definition of a hit is a song that's so big that people don't even like rap know about that song. You know, niggas was like, yo, Pump Pump was a hit. I was like, nigga, if you think Pump Pump off of fucking Doggy Style was a hit record, nigga, this is what I mean. We have 2 totally different definitions. Right. I didn't say Pac only got 5. I didn't say Snoop only has 5 or 6 dope songs. I said Snoop himself, not Dr. Dre, so not Deep Cover, not nothing like it. Snoop himself. We're talking Beautiful. We're talking Drop It Like It's Hot. Maybe What's My Name? Murder Was the Case. But then people are like, look at the Billboard charts. I'm like, to me, so again, I'm like, you got bangers, you got club bangers. Just because something banged in the club don't mean it was a hit record. It just means it banged in the club. So I'm breaking these things down. So now people are like, okay, Kill, I see what you're saying. But the problem is most of us can't break down what we mean by our definitions. You know what I mean? And I'm like literally giving examples. I'm like, Simon Says, club banger, you know, underground banger, you know, so I'm like trying to give examples of these things, of what they are. So all that to just say, Tone, I feel what you're saying about Pac being a lyricist, because he does pull that out of you and he does enable you to come in to his world. So totally understand what you're saying with that. What you got up next, Tone?
So I got the first verse on Kendrick Lamar's song Feel. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like, man, like, it's a very unique way, the way he wrote the verse. You know what I'm saying? Because I hadn't really seen too many people write the same way he write. Like, for example, you know, he started off with ain't nobody praying for me. You know what I'm saying? Because Kendrick can get deep too. Then he say, I feel like a chip on my shoulder. I feel like I'm losing my focus. I feel like I'm losing my patience. I feel like thoughts in the basement. Feel like, what do you say? Feel like I feel you miseducated. Feel like I don't want to be bothered. Feel like you may have a problem. Feel like ain't no tomorrow. Fuck the world. The world is ending. I'm done pretending. Then he talk about, you know, I feel like friends overrated. I feel like the family been faking, and all of these things. Right? So when you listen to the whole song, you start thinking about, you can reflect on certain friendships, family members that might have let you down. You're like, you know what? Sometimes it is just me. You know what I'm saying? Because some of these people are faking around here, or I'm giving this person too much grace because I like grew up with them and shit. Or this is my cousin, but my cousin ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like you giving all these people a pass, and they disturbing your peace. You know what I'm saying? So Kendrick really was somewhat different with that first verse on Field, man. And a lot of rappers just don't rap like Kendrick. I ain't talking about who you like better lyrically and all this stuff like that. I'm talking about just the way he go about songwriting. You don't see that every day. And I've given 20 different examples before on Twitter and on podcasts, stuff like that. He different, bro. He just different.
Yeah, he is. He is. Kendrick is one of those people like with the NBA. It's like, could this person have hung out with the Bulls in the 90s? You know what I mean? And to me, Kendrick is one of the people who I think would have been fine in the 90s. You know what I mean? So, but that's just me.
And anybody who thinks different, go put on Good Kid, Mad City and put that song Sing About Me on 12 Minutes of Fire. That's one of the most creative storytelling songs on perspective of 2 or 3 people you're going to hear in hip hop. And everybody in the 90s wasn't damn rapping like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just sometimes nostalgia gets the best of us, especially, I'll be 50 in a couple of months. So we in the same generation, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes we get caught up in, oh man, nobody can rap like so-and-so did in 1996. Dude, music and artists progress, evolution. That shit that he did on Sing About Me, there wasn't a lot of songs like that in the 90s. And I was a hip-hop head and grown when Pac and Big died, just like you were. We were 21 years old when Pac and Big died. Cats wasn't, like, everybody wasn't spitting like what Kendrick was doing on Good Kid. I mean, some people were, but it was still not everybody was doing that.
To me, it's just like the league. You have your superstars, then you have some all-stars. Like Kyrie, everybody ain't. Hey,
Kyrie crossing cats up in 2025. He's been doing the same thing in 1995.
Yeah.
I think the bottom line is, like, I love Puba, I love CL Smooth. They cannot rap better than Kendrick.
Don't type that on Twitter, bro.
Yeah.
I won't. But if we're honest, you said we're all from
the same. You should. I will.
No. We're all the same generation. We have our favorites from the 90s, but if we're being honest, Puba does not rap. Puba could rap dead nice. Love him. He's not nicer than Kendrick. We have to be
a lot of them not.
We have to be
but again, the thing is too, and again, I understand what you're saying, but then I also see Tone's form of, the evolution. It's like there was a time before the Euro. What's that shit they do? The Euro step. There was a time that wasn't a part of the NBA. There was a time when that would have been a travel. Refs would have been like, whoa, no, travel, stop. You know what I mean? Like, even AI's crossover. And I know that had to do a lot with the refs calling the carry and everything like that. But as new moves come, the league had to get used to the new moves coming. You know what I mean? So again, it's like you said, nobody's rapping like Kendrick, but Kendrick is in the 2025 like spectrum. Like, nobody, you're right, nobody was rapping like that. You know what I mean? So Puba at his time was one of the nicest, but compared to what Kendrick is doing, it's hard because it's almost like me comparing a 1996 Maxima to a 2024 Maxima. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have adaptive cruise control in my 96 Maxima. I don't have, a 17 speaker Bose system in my 96 Maxima. The 96 Maxima was nice as shit. Don't get it twisted. Max has always been nice since like 85. Like, my man John Pop had a Maxima. He had the EQ. The Max used to come with the EQ. You ain't even have to get the Pop there with the Benzie box. So I think it's hard to compare both of them, but I definitely think Kendrick could have banged with the big boys. But I do think if we put Kendrick back in 96, he's not rapping like the way he is right now. You know what I mean? Because he would be, he's seen all the things that's come, and from those, like, he kind of built something new. It's kind of like, I always think like, damn, what if you just popped up back in like 90, like Vega, if I just pulled up to Morgan campus in a 2024 Audi A5, niggas would have been looking like it's a goddamn DeLorean. Like, it's a time machine.
You know what, Kill? Only thing you really can do logically is compare his album to an album back then, or a song with some rhymes, because you can't put him there because he's young. He's in his 30s, so he'll be like fucking 12 years old. So there's no way you can put him. That's like putting somebody from 2001 up against LL Cool J. You can't do it. So you have to put the actual album up. And if I put for me personally, Good Kid, Mad City in the 90s, it fits just fine. If I'm saying, just like the other day I was talking to somebody on Twitter, if you can praise Into the Stage, you know what I'm saying, then you can put Good Kid in 1993 or 4 or whatever too. I mean, what was Buckshot? Outside of us, we grew up on it, we love it. But what was Buck saying that special? I mean, it was dope. Good, they good rhymes, good dope beats, whatever. But I mean, it wasn't amazing. It was just dope.
And then the thing is too is that it's hard to say, because the hard thing is at that time people weren't getting super deep anymore. You know what I mean? Like, so what Kendrick is doing now, at 91, 92 when Into the Stage, 93 when Into the Stage came out, people will rap in a certain way. Like even with the black, you know, what he said, only fuck Redbone, fuck them Black Zulu. Like you couldn't say that now. Like that would be like, yo, that dude is canceled immediately. You know, I mean, dark-skinned women were canceled. So I think it's also just based off like how we were rapping. And one of the things I love about 5B when we do the years, and we got to do, we haven't done a year ep in a while, is like Vague was saying, you get to see how hip hop has changed throughout the years. You get to see how but from doing those episodes, I saw where Chuck D got played out, but then starts to rise, you know, the poor righteous teachers. Now we're starting to get into Islam. So we're getting away from the Black Fist and the medallions, and we're going to, you know, we're going into Grand Poobah and the 5% Nation and the gods and the earth. So we haven't lost all of the pro-blackness. It just changed into a different way. But now when we're in like 93, 94, now Poobah isn't looking like he did in the Wake Up video. Now Poobah is dressing the way I dress because I'm dressing like Poobah dress. You see what I mean? So yeah, the polo and the hill figure. Like we didn't see that for Poobah with Wake Up. So you get to see how things change. Veg, you about to say something?
No, I was just gonna kind of reiterate what you said. Like I think it's tough. You know, I watch a lot of sports. I hate the GOAT conversation, especially because they leave Kareem out. But I think Michael Jordan probably said it the best. Like you can't take me and what I did at my time and put it in Kareem's time and say I would be the best or I'm comparable. We just don't know. We can only look at where it's happening. And Kendrick is a child of years of hip hop. So he has the capacity as an artist to create in the same lane, but it will be different. Because if you're growing up, it's like kind of like my sister been doing a lot of ancestry stuff, right? And I didn't know that my grandmother is the only one that came to New York. The rest of my family, as far as her sisters and her mother and all that, is Baltimore and North Carolina. So if my grandmother didn't come to New York, I'm in B-More. Or I'm not at all, honestly, because my father was in New York. So it's one of those things where it's like, I've always understood living in Baltimore that I could have been one of y'all. I'm from Brooklyn. I have my upbringing and stuff like that. Now I'm where I'm from, but I kind of look at it like that, where like, that's the thing I like about Kendrick the most. He reminds me of everybody else. So I don't necessarily have to qualify him by saying he's just as good as somebody in 96, because I love what he's making today. And I can hear the influences over the years, whether it was just West Coast or some East Coast or whatever, in his music. And I think a lot of times, and you know, y'all know, on social media, it kind of gets bogged down in these, these semantics about skill, when you could really just look at sports and just say, well, yeah, somebody with LeBron's build, he could play in the 90s. He's big enough to take some of them hits and shit like that. The rules are different. You know what I'm saying? He got a so he would have to be from the 90s in order to really compete with them. You know what I'm saying? So
right. And that's a great point, Vega, and we're going to keep it moving, but the rules have changed. I don't know if in the 90s Kendrick's label would have allowed him to make a good Kid, Mad City. You know what I mean? Like that's another.
Maybe they will let him do a To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah, they definitely like
listen to a lot of West Coast Compton albums, but To Pimp a Butterfly is like kind of like taking Nation of Million a little bit with the concepts, complexion, and mama and all that shit like that. So yeah, you're right. That might not be able to be made because record company like, people ain't gonna feel this. We can't sell this shit either.
Right. And keep in mind, that's been going on from Barry Gordy telling Marvin, nope, this what's going on ain't gonna make it. You know what I mean? So that's been going on for years. So I love that, Vague, the rules. And the rules is always the industry. Talib, what you got up next, bro?
Which number we on?
We on 3. Okay.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna go with, since you're on Kendrick, I was trying not to use this one, but I just kept, as I was thinking about the question prompt, I kept coming back to this. And I guess it depends on how we define what a verse is. Because on Euphoria, there's really not much of a hook, but I'm not going to use the whole song because that would be cheating. But I would say there's a section, the second time he says, I hate the way that you walk, I hate the way you talk, I hate the way that you dress. I'm surprised you wanted that feature request. You know, we got some issues to address. Down to the part where he says, you know, ain't 20v1, this 1v20. If I got to smack that right with him, bring him out too, I'll clear him out too. Tell me, you better stay right with my battle and go so AI. Because in this whole section, I feel like Kendrick is speaking to so many aspects of what is going on with hip hop as a culture, what is going on with rap, music in an industry. So if it's in the Smithsonian and someone's coming 200 years from now and he's saying, I hate the way that you talk, I hate the way that you dress, you have to ask, well, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, why did he say that, right? You know, I hate even when you say the word, but that's just me, I guess. Some stuff just cringeworthy, ain't even got to be deep, I guess. It's like he's speaking to those, which of course he gets into more in depth and not like us. But this kind of in-group, out-group aspect to it, and who owns the culture, right? Who is accountable to the culture, and even where we are now, right? Try cease and desist to like that record, or you ain't like that record. It's like nowadays, it's like you get beaten in a battle and you want to sue. You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine Kumo D suing LL? Could you imagine Cannabis, who literally had his career ended, right, by LL, filing a law? Like, you wouldn't even be able to show his face. It wouldn't even make sense. And then just the part where the last part where he talks about am I battling Ghost or AI? Because you know how Drake used AI on Taylor Made Freestyle. It kind of talks about where the state of music is right now, where people just using technology now in certain ways that you just couldn't do before because the technology wasn't there. And are you authentic? Are you real? So for this verse, I feel like if someone were gonna really do, and this is not as much for like lyrical prowess and all things that we were talking about, but just from like a historical aspect, like if there was a historian 200 years from now looking back on what was going on in hip hop culture at that time, I think this section of Euphoria speaks to so many things that are reflective of what's going on in culture, in industry, that it would give someone a good sense of kind of the context of what we're dealing with today.
That's dope. Rem, what you got up next, bro?
Eric B for president. I'm going to sound a lot like you. I'm going to echo a lot of your sentiments here. The second verse, I don't bug out or chill or be acting ill. No tricks in 86, it's time to build. Eric be easy on the cut. No mistakes allowed. Because to me, MC means move the crowd. I made it easy to dance to this. But can you that tech was coming next from the flex of the wrist? I'm not going to go any further. What I'm saying is what you already said. Go back 1 year prior and listen to UTFO, Roxanne, and hear timing. Go back to radio 1 year prior and hear
1 year.
No. Go to Raising Hell in 86 that was dropped in the same year and listen to how Run DMC was rhyming, then listen to Rock Him. I heard it for the first time and I saw the future of hip hop. Never heard somebody rhyme. That tech was coming next from the flex of the wrist. Nope.
It's amazing the way you think when you think about it.
And you all know it. We're all hip hop heads. Flow. This is what we now know as flow. I said, yep, this is it. This is the future of hip hop.
And I think the crazy.
Number 3.
I think the craziest thing, Rem, is that's the 12-inch. My melody with Eric B is Rakim. Like that was the 12-inch. Yeah. Like, and if you brought that 12-inch, you had the future in your hands. You know, without even knowing it, that this is the future of what's about to come. You know,
what I mean? Let me regurgitate one more thing my fam just said, man. That came out the same year at Raising Hell, bro. Think about Walk This Way, and he talking about the wrist. I mean, just think. I mean, I didn't even think about that. We ain't got to go back to 85, bro. You're right. The same year, Run DMC biggest album that actually took hip hop global to stadium status, really like bigger than arenas. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, Rakim was slowly this Miles Davis kind of blue thing about to shift damn culture. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Bro, what you got up next, bro?
Man.
you know, as a Nas fan, I had several Nas verses I could have used. You know what I'm saying?
Me too.
I want to go a different route with it though. Just based on like stuff that I'm seeing now. This is a very relevant verse for now, and it's a certain person. I'll let y'all figure out that need to hear this verse. And this Nas second childhood, second verse. And he's like, dude 31 living in his mom crib, ex-convict, was paroled after his long bid, cornrows in his head, still slinging, got a crew. They break his mom furniture, watching Comic View, got babies by different ladies, high smoking L's, in the same spot he stood since 85. Well, when his stash low, he be crazy. Say buy moms hit it on a payday. Junior high school dropout, teachers never cared. They pay just to show up and leave. No one succeeds. So he moves with his peers, different blocks, different years, sitting on different benches like his musical chairs. All his people's moved on in life. He's on the corners at nights with young dudes as them he want to be like. It's sad, but it's fun to him, right? He never grew up. 31 and can't give his youth up. He's in his second childhood. And that's, I don't know how better to describe that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we all know people that are still in this state, and plenty. And we know some famous people that are still in this state. And it's crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like I just even the verse we talked about the girl, it was just, we all know chicks like that. 27 out there argue, fighting. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know what I mean? Just, we all, it's so relatable. We all know people that's going through that. You know what I'm saying? And I just was watching stuff this week, and the Jim Jones stuff. It just it just came, like, that's the first thing that came to my mind when they asked him, like, they call you the oldest YN out here, like the oldest young nigga, and he took it as a compliment. I'm like, man, that shit ain't no compliment. Like,
right,
no compliment, bro. Like, that's you. Like, you took that wrong, bro. Like, you got a gray beard and braids, and you out on the block. Like, I seen you in Compton somewhere with some young nigga. Like, that wasn't a compliment. I think he took that the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? So that song immediately came to my mind when I saw that. So yeah.
The thing I love about Nas, man, is he coined so many phrases. Like, after that song, it'd be like, oh, that nigga just in his second childhood. Like, we ain't have nothing to call it before. But now it's like, now Nas gave us a word to use. This is my last joint because me and Tone had the joint. This is a big verse, and this is a big verse that most people don't talk about. When I hear about big verses, the thing that struck me about this big verse was, one, it dropped after he died. So it was kind of just like, yo, this shit is crazy. And it's victory off that Puff Daddy No Way Out album.
Ooh, boy.
In the commission, you asked for permission to hit him. He didn't like me, hit him while wifey was with him. You heard of us, the murderers most shady, been on a low lately, the feds hate me. The son of Satan, they say my killing's too blatant. You hesitating, I'm in your mama crib waiting, duct taping. Your fam destiny lays in my hand. Gun lays in my waist. Francis M to the is H phenomenal. Gun rests under the vest by the abdominal. Rhyme a few bars so I could buy a few cars, so I could kick a few flows, so I could pimp a few hoes. Excellence is my presence. Never tense, never hesitant. Leave a nigga bent real quick. Real sick. Brawl nights, I perform like Mike. Anyone, Tyson, Jordan, Jackson, action, pack guns. Ridiculous. And I'm quick to bust if you ends my touch. Kids are the girls you touch. In the worlds I clutch, two Orta Matzos used to call me Fatso. Now you call me Castro. My raps flow. Militant, y'all ain't killing shit. Oops, Cristal keeps spilling shit. You overdid it, Holmes. You in the danger zone. You shouldn't be alone. Hold hands, say it with me. The most shady. Frankie baby. Fantastic graphic, trying to make Joe like Jurassic Park. Did quit the spark kids who spark shit. See me, unlike me, the underboss of the Holocaust. Truly yours, Frank White. When I heard that joint, I was just like, yo, this nigga was getting even better.
He's getting better.
That's what scared me. It was like, because I mean, people who know me know I love Long Kiss Goodnight and My Downfall and all those joints. When I heard this, I was like, yo, this nigga was getting even better. Dog. And then to sign it, Truly Yours, Frank White. And I just almost saw it as, I mean, I know Kicking the Door was about Nas and J. Rule and all those shit. I just felt like this was another letter to everybody. Like, yo, y'all really don't know. That whole anyone, Jordan, Jackson, like, yo, come on, stop, man. Raw Nights I Perform Like Mike. Which one? It's almost like a nigga asking you, which one you acting like?
Anyone, you know what I'm saying?
Anyone. Which one? Tyson, Jordan, Jackson? Like, it was just like, yo, you gotta be fucking playing with me right now.
Hey, kid, you know what, man? What's crazy was, you know, when me and Rob Martin was talking the other month, he had said that Life of the Devil was the best rap album to him. You know what I'm saying? But one of my things I always said was, I always just think about back in the day, like, as great as Big was on Life After Death, and I was like, that's a Seminole MCing. It's scary to think that by the time we got to the end of, by the time somebody kills you, like, the nigga was getting better. Like, I always be like, what was that next album gonna look like? Like, was Big really gonna take over hip hop? Because if Life After Death was anything like what was coming next, nobody was gonna be able to stop Big. And Nas my GOAT, but I don't know if anybody can stop Biggie with what was coming after Life After Death. If it was surpassed Life After Death, I mean, he might end up, and some people might think he's the greatest now, but that might have been on the road to the riches, like G-Rap, baby. He might have been the greatest.
Right. And I
oh, my fault.
No, you got bro.
I understand why he said that though about Life After Death, because I think that's the perfect mixture of
everything, man.
Of commercial hits, street hits, storytelling. Like, that shit got everything, and it's sequenced so well. Like, it's sequenced perfect, bro. Like, and then the end of the second disc. The last 3 songs is the eeriest shit. That shit is almost, it's so dope. It's almost uncomfortable to listen to. It's so eerie, bro. Like, you go from what is it? My Downfall, Long Kiss Goodnight to You're Nobody to somebody.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
And it's over after that. You just like, yo, it's just a crazy feeling listening to that joint, man.
But that's why I picked that, because most people don't talk about that verse, but that's what I took away with that was like, damn, this nigga was getting even better. Yeah. Which was crazy to me. Veg, what you got up next, man?
All right. Staying in the old school bag, I got One Love, Ecstasy. I think it's kind of like somewhere in the second verse, but one thing I tried to do with a lot of these songs I was picking was more so about the subject matter. And how it was, like, obviously we know certain people are nice, but I wanted to pick stuff where, people were saying things that would resonate, that would have impact, and should go in the Smithsonian. So the part I'm going to quote, because I quote it all the time, every time I hear it, I'm like, damn, he right. You know what I'm saying? But said, but then she left me with a note along with all of my stuff, said, maybe one of these days you'll have to learn that love is something that you gotta earn, and once you earn it, gotta know how to keep it. You got to want it as well as you need it. To have lost love was a hurting lesson, but to have had love was a definite blessing. Like, it's not just the words, it's the delivery, it's the conviction in the word. At a time where, like, I was a kid. Like, I wasn't like, I don't know about you players out there, but me, nigga, I was just trying to get the Playboy channel to become player on the TV. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I was at. You young players, I don't know. But when I heard that part, it kind of resonated with me a lot, because it was so clear in its point. And it's not even him saying it to her, it's her saying this to him about love, which is dope, because it's like he's learning a lesson about this relationship and where he messed up and how he could have done better with this love, and me learning a lesson about love in general through him. So I think, like, to me, when things resonate in hip hop on that level, it's one of the reasons why I've loved it since, I was a kid. It's because it's not just about dope beats and dope rhymes. Sometimes they say shit that I hold on to and carry through, with myself through life. So I think that's one of the reasons why it should be in the Smithsonian.
No doubt. Kids out there, when he said One Love, I know everybody was thinking Nas. So was I. But there was another One Love before Nas, the great Houdini, who I always tell people at a time and point in life, it may have been for a day, maybe for a month, they were just as big, if not bigger than Run DMC. And Houdini, I know people look at him like, two MCs and a DJ, they like the broke Run DMC. No, don't get it fucked up. No. Don't get it fucked up. When you talk about hits, 5 Minutes of Funks, Friends, The Freaks Come Out at Night, this is what I mean about hits. Hits will make people who don't like hip hop know your songs. My dad knew about Freaks Come Out at Night. My dad knew about Friends. My dad knew about 5 Minutes of Funk. Those are hits. My dad did not know about Rockbox. Okay, my dad did not know about Daryl and Joe. My dad did not know about King of Rock. So this is how I define hits. Hits. You don't have to know anything about the NBA to know who Steph Curry is, or LeBron James, or Magic Johnson, or Larry Bird. So that's how I look at it. So yeah, Houdini, rest in peace to Ecstasy. Great pull bag, man. For real, I love that joint. Love the video too. Tone, what's up? What you got next?
I got the Prodigy verse from Quiet Storm, man. That in between the paper lines, the Quiet Storm nigga, the right rhymes, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you think about P was one of the most unorthodox MCs ever. I throw a TV at you, crazy. Nigga say P is crazy. You know what I'm saying?
You said I throw a TV at you, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So, but that Quiet Storm verse, man, is just.
Oh yeah, that's diabolical.
I mean, when you talk about basically putting your life on that paper, man, that's it means that much to him. Like, I'm putting everything I got on this paper. You know what I'm saying? This verse is everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting my life on the line writing this rhyme, basically. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, what Prodigy did with that Quiet Storm, man, like, I never get tired of that verse, bro. I never get tired of that song. And, man, I just, I love Prodigy, man. Just the way he went, his approach to rhyming was really very, very unique, man. And that's a unique verse. And he, you know what? He probably top 5 in terms of one line of starting a song off. Not too many people started songs off. There's a war going on outside, no man is safe from. You know what I mean? I'm the Quiet Storm. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I just love that joint, man. That's definitely the Hall of Fame for me. Quiet Storm.
Veg, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, as somebody who writes, especially back then, like what was that, 96 or whatever? That I put my lifetime in between the paper's lines. That shit hit me different. Because as a writer, even if you don't write rhymes, right? Even if you write books or essays or whatever, like, that thought process to start, like, that's a jumping off point for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of where we derive the concepts of songs, or the thesis statement or whatever, right? It's coming from inside, and for Prodigy to take that and kind of characterize it in a way that anybody can understand. When I heard that, I was like, oh, he different. Like we said with Big, oh, he's getting better than what he was before. Like, now he's getting older and wiser. So yeah, I agree with Tone, man.
And you know what too, man? Like simple but dope wordplay. Like, that didn't sound like Cannabis in 1997 right there, what he said, but it resonates with you. It's a dope, amazing verse, but it's not, again, the rapidy rap shit that ain't always necessary. Sometimes people squeeze in 200 words in a damn bar is unnecessary. Prodigy get to the point, and with the dopeness.
You know what, Tone? I was just talking with Rem about this earlier. Just like Cash would sometimes come through the studio and play me a beat, be like, yo, I reversed the drums and I chopped the sample up in 8 million ways and I flicked it and it's filtered. And I'm like, but the shit ain't dope, dog. Listen to this shit I just looped and it sound dope as shit. Like, it don't always have to be some old I sampled some Arabic record. There's only one record in the world, and you know I played it different. I pitched it 8 different. But is it dope? Like, nigga, that's it. Like, that's just what it's about. And again, you know, I know one of the few people who believe this. I enjoyed that Quiet Storm better than the one with Lil Kim. I know that's sacrilegious in the world, but I prefer that P one. Just Dola. Talib, what you got up next, bro?
I'm gonna take it to the Queen Latifah. And part of this is because of the video. One of my sisters, I have 2 older sisters, and one of them was a big Queen Latifah fan back in the day. So she would always play Ladies First. And like when it would come on Video Music Box, that's when, you know what I mean, and she would record it, and then we had to, you know, watch it over and over again. And actually, I was kind of fighting between, do I pick one of Latifah's verses or do I pick one of Moni Love's verses? Because to be told, Moni Love wordplay this is one of the first time I ever heard someone layer that many syllables. Right in a verse, but I know I'm only picking one verse, so I'm gonna pick one verse off this song. You know, I'm gonna do the one where it says, "Who said the ladies couldn't make it? You must be blind. If you don't believe me, here, listen to this rhyme. Ladies first at the time to rehearse some divine, and my mind expands you out the universe." And I just remember hearing that and just being like, as a child, just being like, "Oh my goodness," you know what I mean? And so also to like, I think. Was it Tone or Vegas? One of y'all was just saying about, I think it was you, Vegas, when he was saying about the content, right, of what's being said. And what Queen Latifah was saying in this joint was like, no, the ladies, like, we can rap and we're here and we're not gonna be backseat, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and let me give you bars. And they gave you bars in this joint. So if I had to pick, this song is dope. If I had to pick one verse off of this song that is representative, I would pick that section. Ladies first, there's no time to rehearse some divine, and my mind expands throughout the universe.
That's dope.
Again, Latifah, if y'all don't know, 5 Mic album right here. Y'all need to grab this joint right here if you haven't heard it. Rem, what you got up next, bro?
Talk, dear mama. I gotta go on my little pop. Give me a second, because I'm gonna sound like you. You already said it, but I just gotta rock out. Tone, those people that you talked about, the Rappity Rap in 91, that was me. Backpacker to the core. North Face jacket, book bag, I loved it. I was more...
And your Timbs.
And Timbs, come on now. I was more death certificate than I was Tupac is now. I was more naughty by nature than I was Tupac. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could honestly say now, I wasn't as mature as Pac was. In 91, I'm not listening to Brendan's Gotta Be. To be honest with you. It was too mature. I couldn't relate. Give me some wolf in sheep's clothing all day. I'm good. But now that I'm older, dear mama, timeless, and that will never ever get played. An ode to black mothers, that will be played until the end of time. But the twist is the second verse where he talks about his father. Now, ain't nobody tell us that it was fair. No love for my daddy, because the coward wasn't there. He passed away and I didn't cry, because my anger wouldn't let me feel for a stranger. They say I'm wrong and I'm heartless, but all along I was looking for his father. He was gone. My dad, I haven't spoken to my dad since 2015. And wonder if I'm going to cry when he passed away. This is something that I am sharing with you all, and I just met you all, aside from Kill, tonight. It's allowing me to be vulnerable, because the song that I'm talking about at that time, the MC was vulnerable.
Yeah.
He's talking about shit that we had a hard time even describing as young black males. So the song is about their mama, and I love it because it's all the black mothers. But that line about father and would I cry? I can't tell you all with certainty that I will cry when my dad passes away. And I live with that every day because I don't really know him. We don't have that rapport. We don't have that relationship. And when Pac said that,
you know what, Rem?
He was speaking to so many different young black men, such as yourself, and People that we know. If it's not me directly, it's one of my cousins. It's my homie I grew up with in the hood, whatever. So, and that's the special part about pop when you, in retrospect now, nobody was doing that. He was generations before his time, man.
Way before his time. Not even close.
It's funny when we always talk about who's coming for the tithes and offerings this week. You know, you about to get the tithes and offerings this week, man. The collection plate is coming to you. The reason I love it, bro, is because this is a representative of what I always wanted what hip hop was for us growing up. You know, it's what I tell younger people. Stag Selector said this. For the younger people, you'll never love hip hop as much as I did because it saved my life. So for me, hip hop, I'm always gonna love hip hop more than some of these younger dudes will, just because it saved my life. A lot of these young boys, they love it, they listen to it, they rock out to it, but it hits different when somebody saves your life. You feel a certain loyalty. Like, Rem, if niggas was shooting and I picked you up and grabbed you and got you out the way, you gonna feel a certain type of loyalty to me. Like, you gonna be like, Kill, that's my nigga. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. Whatever happened to him, I got his family. We good forever. That's how I feel about hip hop. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm loving about what you're saying. Just from the, you know, your other one that you were talking about tonight down to this one is about, like you said, this is what hip hop was supposed to be.
Facts.
You know, hip hop was supposed to be something that wrapped its arms around you. Hip hop was supposed to be. I tell my kids this all the time. I can't bear your cross for you, but I'll be by your side to help you bear it. I can't carry your cross, but I'll be there with you. You see what I'm saying? That's what hip hop is supposed to be. You know what I mean? Hip hop is supposed to be that friend you have when nobody is there for you. Hip hop is supposed to be that. So I'm loving hearing these things from you, because I'm glad to have my culture is still doing what it was supposed to do for somebody, especially a black man. You know, and that's what means so much to me about that. Vague, what you gonna say? Vague, you got it.
I was gonna say, I think it's. You can hear me?
Yeah, you good.
Okay. I was gonna say, I think that's one of the reasons why some of the kids really like XXX because he did a lot of that for them, where there are other, you know, younger artists who are kind of like, you know, rinse and repeat, cookie cutter rap kind of situation. They don't really give much of themselves and their own stories, because they all have stories. They just don't tell them through their raps. But I think that's why that particular artist resonated with a lot of young kids, because he was vulnerable. And I love what Rem said, because at that time, Tupac was speaking to me, because my father wasn't around. He was kind of around, but not in the way he should have been. And I was thinking like that, right? Like, well, it's your father, right? Like people say, but that's your father. Regardless, that's your father. And when Tupac said my anger wouldn't let me feel for a stranger, I was like, that's it. That's how I feel. Tupac said exactly how I feel, and that's what I'm going to say, because that's what I'm living. So to your point, to everybody's point, that's the beauty of hip hop, right? It's the voice of the voices. Going back to what Talib was saying, right? Like, that was our voice box about what's really happening with us individually, with us in our communities, and so on and so forth. So that's a great pick. Like,
it is, because you know we live in the lyrics in real time.
Right, right.
And again, this is a testament to why so many people love hip hop so deep. I have seen fights over who's better, Nas or Biggie, Pac or Jay or whoever. Why? Because that's our connection with them. You know what I mean? As soon as somebody heard Jay-Z, if you from Brooklyn, Jay from Brooklyn, okay, that's one thing we got in common. He sold drugs, or I sold drugs. That's another thing in common. He ain't have his pop, I ain't have my pop. By the time you get the four things in common, nigga, that's my brother. Like, so that's why I see niggas rumbling over, nigga, you better take that shit back about Jay. Like, because for some people, it's like, yo, Jay is my man. Like, that's the closest thing. And again, by me working with young black men, it's so important, because I've asked 30 middle school kids, yo, do y'all have any black role models in your life? They naming Kevin Garnett, you know, Paul Pierce. This was back in those days. And I'm like, no, like a black man that you know. And they like, you mean somebody doing the right thing? and not you, Mr. Kill? No.
Nobody.
So I'm telling you that 30 middle school kids are saying that they don't have, outside of me, they don't know any black man doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. This is why we're here. This is why I always tell people, y'all need to come out and work with my kids. Y'all gonna pay one way or the other. You gonna pay one way or the other. You know what I mean? So, and I love this is because that's what hip hop is supposed to be. Hip hop is supposed to be able to speak for you when you can't speak. And when you don't have the words to say, hip hop can give you those words to say. People don't understand, but if we really get deep, I'm like Talib, we get deep. Hip hop is therapy if we really want to get into it.
Facts.
Hip hop is therapy because your therapist is supposed to be able to tell you, oh, this is how you're feeling. Oh, and this is how you say it.
Right.
Black folk don't go to therapy, and even the ones who do, either, and I deal with this every day, the people who do, for the free therapy or the Medicaid therapy is 6 months out. These people can't wait 6 months to get their feelings done. Mm-hmm. And they can't afford to go to the therapist that does have the openings. So again, it's a good app, y'all. It's a good app. And I love God because all of y'all weren't supposed to be on this app at the same time, and y'all are all here. And I always believe in that. What you gonna say, Ralph?
One thing.
Wait, Ralph, I'm sorry. Let me just say this real quick. That's why Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, I think, is so important because that whole album is one big therapy session.
It's such a great album that nobody. I'm like, me and Naomi are like the only two people who I know who love. I love that album. When people are like, yo, that Kendrick album's whack, I'm like, bro, I love that album. I stand on that hill by myself.
People appreciate it later. They'll appreciate it later.
I'm sorry, Ralph. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I was just saying, that's a good pull because like not only is it therapy, but it make you face some things you might have been hiding or not trying to face. You know what I'm saying? Like at that time, my pops wasn't like me and my pops good now, but he wasn't around during that time. You know what I'm saying? And I know for me, it was thoughts like that was just stuff I would try to avoid. Like I didn't even want to think about it. And then when you hear that, it puts it right in your face. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? It makes you kind of deal with it. You know what I mean? And I don't know, all of us are fathers, but if you're a father, you don't ever, I tell my man's going through something with his baby mom that's affecting his time with his child. And I tell him, you don't ever want to be that dude that, you know what I'm saying, where your child don't know you, don't know if they're going to cry if you die. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that verse is eye opening from both angles, like as a son and as a father, you know what I'm saying? Like, because you don't want to be that dude, man. Like, and if you've been through it, you know how difficult it is for the child. So why would you want to put your child through it if you've been through it? You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of affect the way that I look at like being a father, because I was a young father, you know what I'm saying? And you know, you go through drama with your if you're not with your baby mom and stuff like that, and then you lose track of the most important thing, which is the child and y'all relationship. So that was a real good pull, man. Like, and I, you know, again, I wasn't a huge Pac fan, but that he got some gems that like life gems, you know what I'm saying? And that's one of them. Yeah.
Right. Rel, what you got? We almost at 2 hours. I don't want to hold y'all. So, Rel, what you got up next?
Yeah.
And I don't want to rush it because like this is like a church service to me. We ain't gotta get out here early. I just want to be respectful of folk time. I ain't got shit to do for the rest of the night, but I want to be respectful of folks' time. But this like a church service, y'all. So, what you got up next, Rel?
Leave it to me to throw this completely off the rails.
Right, we all positive. You about to give me some asshole crack on the block? Don't tell me. Push your T.
Nah, this is Ice Cube straight out of Compton. First verse, because it's just a microcosm of what was going on at that time, and like a time, and like it just like it's straight out of Compton, a crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube. Like that, he started the verse off like that. From a gang called Niggas with Attitudes. When I'm called off, I got a sawed off, squeeze the triggers and bodies are hauled up. Like,
Cube, man. Woo.
Yo, they like, and this is not positive. This is pure negativity. But just think about, like, I know when I first heard it and I first saw the video, I instantly became a Cube fan, but I was like shocked a little bit, like, yo, like what is this? And
Bro,
like,
you couldn't
where is
start no
Compton?
rhyme off like that. You could not
Yo,
start a rhyme off with coming straight out of Compton, a crazy motherfucker. It was like, wait a second. You can, first of all, you can curse. You can say motherfucker in the first fucking 4 bars of a song, you know, and the gang is called niggas with attitude. Like, again, it was against the rules. It was against the rules. You know, definitely. Crazy joint. Babe, what you got for your last one,
I
bro?
was a little shocked.
No, it was big shot.
Yeah.
I've heard cursing before. I never heard profanity like that. Like when
It was different.
And people have to keep in mind. I look at hip hop as there's pre and post straight out of Compton. Like in the Bible, you have AD after death and BC before Christ. You got pre and post straight out of Compton. You know, I hate to break people's hearts. People love to say Rakim never cursed in a song. He cursed twice in my melody. You know, pull up a chair and I'ma tear the shit up. You know, but when we cursed in hip hop, it was very much Kane. You know, oh shit. It was like one curse word. Post straight out of Compton. Again, G-Rap's first album, no curse words, not one, not a millimeter of a curse word for the cool genius of rap, cool gangster rap, whatever you want to call it. Second album, it was like going from fucking Bill Cosby to Eddie Murphy. I won't say Bill Cosby. It was like going from Sinbad to Eddie Murphy in one album. So there's pre and there's post. So because it was that far of like, yo, I didn't even know. Because again, there was a time and point in where we talked about this at the Live 5B. Getting a parental advisor sticker on your album was a death blow at a certain point. After post straight after Compton, you wanted that. Because all the hype was, well, if you get that sticker, then white kids in fucking Memphis are going to want to buy your album. Yeah. So now you are almost shooting. How many curse words do we need for that? 28? I'm going to give you 30. We're going to make sure we get that sticker. Yeah. Where before, nobody, if you had that sticker, you're not selling any rights. So, you know, that's the other thing too. So like you said, Rem, no, it was big shock. And then they had Jerry curls. I didn't understand that at all. So it was also like these niggas looking like ready for the world. Like half of me was like, I can't take y'all niggas serious because are y'all singing Oh Sheila or are we killing people? I didn't know in LA y'all got down with Jerry curls and perms like that. No disrespect. Babe, what you got for your last one, bro?
All right, last one. I got Slick Rick, but it's the first verse of Hey Young World. And obviously the song itself, there's a lot of gems, but I'll just say one part. The first verse, reward is a brainwashed kid going wild. Young little girls already have a child. Bad company. Hey, now you've been framed. Your parents are hurting and ashamed. You're ruining yourself and your mommy can't cope. Hey, little kids, don't follow these dopes. Here's a rule for the non-fool. Life don't drool. Don't be a fool like those that don't go to school. Get ahead and accomplish things. You'll see the wonder and the joy life brings. Again, it speaks to a lot of what we were saying about connecting with your audience, connecting with the community, connecting with reality in a way that wasn't common back then, right? Like you can point to songs that did some of that, but Slick Rick kind of making a song speaking to the youth specifically in the way he did, and it was just so dope the way the beat was, the video, telling a story as he always does, and it resonated with me as a kid because again you have like a lot of the people we mentioned, like Chuck D, KRS-One, and people like that, kind of teaching us things and speaking directly to us, right? They're not just speaking to their peers; they're speaking to the kids who are listening to hip hop. It was just so dope to hear these things and know they were right compared to what we were seeing. So I just felt like, you know, for like you said before, like when I mentioned One Love, some people might have thought of Nas. Well, when you think about a dope song by Nas, I Know I Can. Slick Rick did it decades earlier with Hey Young World, right? And his thought it was a very dope song, and that's probably the verse I put in the Smithsonian. So.
All right. Tone, what you got for your last joint, bro?
So man, this is a joint from Joe Budden called "World Keeps Spinning." And like I literally lived this verse. I'm gonna say a little piece of it because I lived this verse and I'll explain real quick in a second. But he said I could talk about how a nigga trade slugs, boast about toast and what the 38 does. But a nigga seen what happened to the fam of J Hud. So I thank God for every morning I wait up. I confront as if everything's fine, but my grandmother's dying and she's 89. Older, but her mind about sharp as mine. If this world were mine, I would rewind time to a time where her heart didn't leak that fluid. She needs surgery, doctors talking stupid. She said she ain't ready to, no, she said, my phone is really small, y'all. Said she already lived her life so she can lose it. Talking like their tools is useless. So he kept going on and on about his grandmother needing this surgery in the hospital. And he's like, the doctor's kind of brushing off, kind of like, well, shit, she almost 90, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the vibe he was getting in the verse talking to the nurses. And the crazy thing was, my grandma died at 89 also. And it's this exact same situation that happened to me, what Joe Budden is talking about. Going back again to hip-hop being that therapy, man. I'm riding to the car to work one day. This is probably about 5 years ago. I'm commuting. This damn song came on, man. And I'm going to tell you, man, I just fucking start crying, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not really an emotional dude. You know what I'm saying? But I was riding, man, and them words, I rewound the song like 5 times. I heard Joe Budden's passion in the song, and Joe known to do that in a lot of his songs, man. That Love for You, that album, All Love Lost, it's basically his damn memoir. You know what I'm saying? And it's very honest, and he's been like this his whole career. He's had so many songs like Black Cloud and stuff like this. But man, this verse, like I said, bro, it brought me to tears, Joe. And it goes back to what you said, man. Hip hop is our therapy, man. It is words that we live by. You know what I'm saying? And these rappers, we all from the same communities a lot of times, so we dealing with the same stuff.
Yeah. And one thing, Tone, I love what you said, and again, I'm always teaching this to my kids and grown folk too, is there's nothing wrong with crying. And Tone, I wasn't saying that you were saying that there's something wrong with crying by saying you're not emotional, but you know, one of my teens came into my center one day. He said, "Kill, you be so proud of me." I said, "Yo, what's up? What's popping?" He said, "Yo, my grandfather died and I didn't cry." And I said, "Bro, why would I be proud of you about that?" He said, "Well, because my dad taught me men don't cry." And I said, and I know it's Pop. I said, "Look, no disrespect to your Pop. I'm going to leave my office. You go in there. I'm going to leave you in here for a half an hour and cry. You just lost your grandfather." You know, and that's what's happening. We're coming up in a place where people don't cry. You know what I mean? And I've said this before. I'll say it again because we having the church episode today. I have fibromyalgia. And for years, I was on this drug called Cymbalta. It's an antidepressant. For some reason, they thought that could help with the fibromyalgia. And it had been years. My student Tay got murdered, who was like a son to me. I didn't cry. My rap partner Rallo died, had a heart attack, didn't cry. Grandfather died, didn't cry. I just thought I couldn't cry. My mom was like, "Well, why don't you try to get off that shit you on?" And then I started doing. I always tell people, before you get put on a medicine from your doctor, Google lawsuits against lawsuits. Don't Google side effects. You have to Google lawsuits. Because I Googled side effects of Cymbalta, nothing big came up. I did lawsuits against Cymbalta. Oh, loss of emotions, couldn't write, loss of creativity, all this stuff. So for people watching, as you get older, even young folks, before you get put on something, remember lawsuits. That is when you will find out what this medication could do to you. So for years, I couldn't cry. So now I will cry in a heartbeat. And I tell people, in my belief, crying is getting out the trauma. It's just like your kidney. Your kidneys put stuff out of your system. When we don't cry, we keep this trauma on us. And one of my homegirls, I'm starting a podcast with her. And Talib, you know Dr. Joe Richardson, right?
Yeah, no Dr. Joe. Yeah.
Joe was doing a podcast with me and my homegirl Keish. And one of her beliefs is that dementia comes from all this trauma that people have in their life that they've never let go of and that they've never dealt with. And after a while, your brain just can't take it anymore. You get to this place. So and again, that's just her thought on it. You know, I'm not selling those theories, but this is just her thought on it. And when we do our podcast, I'll link it. But I just say all that to say is that, and I even said this when my mentor died, and my homegirl, his wife was like, I would always be like, I'm gonna go take care of your wife, and I would go over there help her, and I would see his chair, and I couldn't do it anymore, and I stopped going. And I said, damn, this is messed up. I'm not going to take care of Fern. And I would tell everybody, I would tell all y'all, I don't go see Fern because it hurts me too much. And then one day God put on my heart, well, who better to cry around than his wife? Because I didn't want to go because I didn't want to cry. That was the moral to the story. So I basically abandoned his wife because I didn't want to cry. But God was like, well, who better to cry with than his wife? So again, we do so much stuff to not cry. But trust me, y'all, I went years without being able to cry. That's a real fucked up place to be when you can't cry, when you don't have those emotions. So all that to say, cry, ain't nothing wrong with it. I said something on Twitter about it, and it was strange to me because a lot of women were telling me they didn't cry. Like my mom died, my dad died, this person died, and I didn't cry. I expected that from men, not from women.
You know what's crazy though, Kill? For a lot of people, you know, I've been in behavioral health for 25 years. When you suppress that, it comes back later. Like the journey's not over with. You're gonna cry at some point. It might be that lonely night 18 years from now, and you have some emotional, serious breakdown when all that trauma hit your ass at one time, but it will hit you. So when I hear people say that, it's not healthy at all.
And then, Tony, it will hit you, and sometimes it'll hit you in the wrong way. Because you end up shooting somebody to fuck out because of the trauma that you have dealt with, or you end up shooting somebody. Like you said, so it's gonna come out. It's gonna come. All we do is keep throwing shit in the closet. This is what I used to do as a kid. My mom be like, "Clean my room." I just threw that shit in the closet, and after a while, the closet gets so full, everything goes back out. So you know. So, Talib, what you got for your last one, good bro? Tony, did we do you? I'm sorry, we preaching so much.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, Talib, what you got for your last joint?
Why you gonna just throw me in there like that? Okay, so I'm a cheat a little bit because I'm struggling because I got a Nas verse that I want to have for my Smithsonian one, but I just got to give an honorable mention to DMX, 24 Hours to Live. Posse joint off Harlem World. I'd never heard of DMX. I don't know who he was. This was about 95, I want to say, early 96, something like that.
If it's Harlem World, we're like 96, 97.
Yeah, around 97, I believe.
97, okay, 97. Okay, around that time. I just remember I was in high school, so I was trying to place it. So yeah, but I didn't know DMX. So all I hear this dude just come on and just be like, 24 left until my death, because I'm gonna waste a lot of lives. I'm gonna cherish every breath. I know exactly where I'm going. I'm gonna send you there first. What the stuff that I've been doing, I'm gonna send you there first. I've been living with a curse, and it's all about to end. Before I go, say hello to my little friend. I never heard something like that. How you gonna say something like that? Yo, anyway, with the stuff that I be doing, I know exactly where I'm going. I'm gonna send you there first.
Yeah.
Anyway, but my for real fifth verse. It's from Nas. I feel like Nas is. I hope he watches this and listens to it one day because we done referenced him so many times. This comes off Black Zombie off the Lost Tapes, and to me, the Lost Tapes, first of all, is one of my favorite Nas joints. That to me that should be in the can. I know it's supposed to be like B-sides, unreleased, whatever, but like to me, Lost Tapes is some of Nas' best stuff. And in Black Zombies, the first verse.
Yeah.
Now think about what we were talking about with policy previously. If you talk about public, this whole verse is a policy essay. He says, "Do you believe when they say we ain't ish, we can't grow? Or we all is dope dealers and gangsters and hoes? Do you believe when they be telling you lie on the media? They make the world look crazy to keep you inside. While you listen to the teachers at school, I can't rap like Nas. Though you a young single parent now struggling, they think you a fool. Give the kids bad grades and put them in dumb classes, killing shorty future. I wonder how do we last it? Underground in a casket, ancestors turning. I learned something every day that is no Lazarus. Words to God is Greek or Latin. So if you study Egypt, you see the truth written by the masters. And brothers was chilling, getting high, relaxing, envisioning ownership. Your wicked happen. What do we own? Not enough land, not enough homes, not enough banks to give my brother a loan. What do we own? The skin on our backs. We randomly ask for reparations. And they hit us with tax and insurance if we live to be old. But what about now? So stop being controlled. Black zombies. And so if you think about, there's so much policy, from education policy, right, to what's going on in the schools, criminal justice policy, right? Even people don't know communications. The Federal Communications Commission regulates what you see on your television. When we talked about the parental advisory stickers, right? There are laws, there's policies governing what you can and cannot listen to as long as it doesn't violate the First Amendment, right? So when hip hop, we were talking about how hip hop had a certain ethos and aesthetic and a certain vibe, right? In the 70s into the 80s, they started getting real pro-black. And then no disrespect to NWA, but then you see the music shift, right? And hip hop got corporate, right? And it was like, well, what was going on that then why did the music and the culture shift at that time on where the music was going, right? So then when Nas is talking about envisioning ownership, what do we own? Not enough home, not enough land, right? When we even think about how, well, why when you think about white kids in the suburbs and, you know, like Leave It to Beaver and like Boy Meets World, well, the 30-year mortgage is a policy decision, right? There is the interest rate at which banks lend to people for a home loan. In those terms, there are regulations and rules set by the federal government on the conditions in which banks can lend money to people. And there were specific policies within this. You can look this up. How the Department of Housing and Urban Development said, as a matter of policy, they said that black homes did not have the same value as white homes. And so when we look at intergenerational wealth and why there's an intergenerational wealth gap, and look at the conditions of poverty, which led to this beautiful thing we call hip hop, a lot of this is about going back to policy decisions. Again, these things are not accidents. What do we own? The skin on our backs. We rent. We're not owning, we're renting. And we ask for reparations and they hit us with tax. Not speaking back to the fact that within the Constitution itself, because for rules for taxation, black people who were enslaved were counted as 3/5 of a white person. One white person was equivalent to 3/5 of a black person for tax purposes and representation in government. So for representatives, we ask for reparations, they hit us with tax, and especially we love to be old. So what about now? To stop being controlled, we black zombies. Like, it goes back. I'm bringing this all the way back to where we started, right? They don't want you in the cipher. The people, they don't want you in the cipher. You being a black zombie. So you join the cipher, get involved in policy. But anyway, that's why I would put this. But given our conversation, this verse I think speaks to so much of what we even talked about in this conversation. That's why it's got to be my number 5, capping off my contribution to what goes in the Blacksonian.
Love it, man. Love it. Brent, what you got for your last joint, bro?
I got the white boy. I got Elvis. Had to do it. I got M.
You got him.
Lord Johnson would be like, there's no way a white boy can have a verse in the hip hop Smithsonian, but yet he does. Dan, see, I could go either way. I could go guilty conscious, third verse. The whole line about D. Barnes. I could go there.
Oh boy.
That's honorable mention. Dan, when he goes in the third verse, dear Mr. I'm too good to call.
Oh man.
This will be the last package I ever send your ass. It's been 6 months and still no word. I don't deserve it. I know you got my laptop letters. I wrote the addresses on there. Listen, and he's saying it with that aggression. Yeah. From an obsessed fan, stop it. Fam, stop it. That song, top 5 for me in terms of conceptual and storytelling. I know how we feel about M, but let me just say this to you all. This is my opinion. 1998 to 2000, 2001, M was a problem.
No doubt.
Raucous, any man, M was a problem.
Raucous, any man. Now you're going with your sound bomber too. You ain't never lied, bro. And it's funny because you was like, I know how we feel about him. I'm like, yo, I'm not the biggest fan, but I would never. M to me is the perfect example of, I may not be the biggest fan, but nigga, he could rap his ass off. Like, that's the difference with me. I'm not like, oh, I don't like him and he can't rap. No, I'm not a fan, but that nigga's a monster. Like,
and that third verse of Stan, like you said, you made me think about it just now. The song kept going up and up and up, and that third verse, the 8th climax, it's kind of like, well, fuck you, because you know what I mean? He was the energy he was on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an amazing third verse.
Before we get to the verse, R.I.P. the 45 Kings.
Yeah.
That beat and the scribbling of the pencil on the paper.
Yeah.
Y'all need to stop it. Stop it.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. And here's the thing, similar to Nas, I mean, we weren't calling people stands before that song, right?
Right.
No,
Oh, that's
that's like dope as hell.
Right.
It's
So
like
just
that.
like when we talking about second childhood, we weren't calling people stands before that.
It's in our vocabulary like ether is.
Yeah. Like you know.
Yeah. We wasn't using that before
Right. Not
at all.
Bro, what you got for your last joke, bro?
All right, so I got my last John, and I got like an honorable mention. I wouldn't put in Smithsonian, but it was important. But should I do the honorable mention first, or
Either way, don't matter.
all right? So the honorable mention, not an MC that I really listened to like that. I would kind of stumbled across this song when it came out, but it's like whenever like years ago when I was like going through something like life-wise, financially, I would listen to this joint because it was like, yo, people going through stuff and it could be worse, you know what I'm saying? And it was G Dep's Every Day. I don't know if y'all heard that stuff.
No.
Listen, I walk down the block with my stomach in knots, spend time hustling, running from cops, broke as a joke, no ends at all, can't play ball and my Timbs is small. Can't buy trees with government cheese. I'd rather be where it's breeze, niggas bubbling keys. My mom's got 2 jobs, one on her knees, writing letters to the government. Please call off the deed. My baby mother with another brother with cash. They drive by, roll down the window and laugh. I solve all my problems with endo and hash. Bought my daughter a Nintendo, now she calling him dad. My landlord's a jerk. The water don't work. My little sister 12 and she bought her own skirt. She'd rather do Kurt than do her homework. Talk blunts and boys and she'll jump for joy. Man, it's twisted. Opportunity knocked, but I missed it. Out in the park getting lifted. So now I'm sitting here shit out of luck without a buck and it don't make a difference. Cause when I heard, I said, yo, then the whole song, like all the other verses is like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of them, John. I just hear, I'm like, you know what, man? Like, people be going through shit, man. Like, and it could be worse. Like, I gotta, you know, get out this rut somewhere.
Real,
you know what I'm
that
saying?
shit feel so real. Didn't that feel like a real?
Yeah. Like it's so
like he
clear.
living that his cousin or somebody he know lived that.
Yep, definitely.
Too real.
Yeah, man. That song, like if you ain't heard it, get that joint and listen, man. Like you gonna see what I'm talking about. And then my last John is Inspector Deck, first verse off Triumph.
Yeah.
What else to say about that? You know, I bomb atomically, Socrates, philosophies, and how prophecies can't define how I'll be dropping these. You know what I'm saying? Like lyrically perform armed robbery. You know what I'm saying? Like I just remember like hearing that. You know what? You know what's so funny about that? I actually saw it written down before I heard it because it was in the source as a quotable, and I read it and I'm like, yo, what the and then that during that time, like especially after that, and then Deck was like on this run of just getting on your song and just killing it. You know what I'm saying? Got on what's a Butter Clouds, he joined Pete Rock joint, like he was just Big Pun, like he was on everybody's album.
Yeah, join him and Prodigy, right?
Join him and Prodigy, you know what I'm saying? He was just on everybody's verse and going crazy. So that's my joint.
Hey Ray, real quick, did you ever hear that verse, the cut verse from I Got My Mind Made Up?
I did. The verse that got cut off from the Pac joint. Yep. I did hear it. Yep. So
yo, dope show, y'all. Joints for the Smithsonian. Shout out my man Scartosio one more time. If y'all don't know about his statues, we talked about Nas enough tonight. So you got the Nas statue and Queen.
You got everything, bro.
You go around the back, you got the projects, you got the bridge right there, you got the big QB
Those
check.
projects were cleaner than I remember.
But definitely check him out, Scartosio on IG, his joints. They take a minute. You'll cop it in January. You may not get it till September, but he lets you know. That it's going to take a minute to get these joints, but they definitely worth it. Y'all know the bookworm in me. I got to shout out 2 books real quick. Rakim Told Me. This is a very hard joint to find by Brian Coleman. If you can't find this, go with Check the Techniques, volume 1, 2, and I think there's a 3. These are basically, if you remember in XXL, there used to be a section at the bottom that would talk about how an album was made. So Brian Coleman is basically the person who did those. These are his books. So if you want to know how albums like Criminal Minded, The Great Adventures of Slick Rick, Strictly Business, Big Marks Going Off, Ultramagnetics, Critical Beatdown, DOC's No One Can Do It Better, Public Enemy's It Takes a Nation. These books talk about all those albums, how they got made. Trust me, there are some incredible stories in these books. Again, this is hard to find, so if you can't get this, get the Check the Technique. And then over here we got from our basketball people, the Boys of Dunbar. This joint is about the Baltimore City High School team. You have Muggsy Bogues, David Wingate, Reggie Williams, and hold up, I messed up the name. It's David. I had to write these down. David Wingate, Reggie Lewis, God bless the dead, Reggie Williams, and Muggsy Bogues. Dunbar out of Baltimore. If you was around back in the late 80s, early 90s, Baltimore, you know, they got down for their crowd like that. Veg, what you going to say?
Shout out to Ali Denwar, who wrote that book and also did a 30 for 30.
Yep.
He's also an alumni of WEAA's Sports Rap or whatever that show was.
Okay.
They used to be on the end. And he's from New York, so dope.
Right.
There's a 30 for 30 for that joint.
Dope. So definitely the bookworm in me. Again, I appreciate everybody. Talib, real quick, tell them about the New Hood. Where can they get at you? All your socials so we can help support the movement.
Appreciate you. The New Hood. You can go to thenewhood.org, THENEWHOOD.org, thenewhood.org. We are on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Blue Sky. So yeah, just throw in the search The New Hood, it'll pop up.
All right, no doubt. Rim, where can they get at you, bro?
At Remington_Sync at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You know what it is.
All right, no doubt. Rel, where can they get at you, good brother? And we still got up to this album, man. We ain't finished with this, bro.
Yeah. Uptown Rel 215 on the gram, JBen215 on Twitter. Album out, 100% produced by Kill, called It's Not You, It's Me. It's on all your streaming platforms. It's on my Bandcamp, Jarrell215.bandcamp.com. It's just I wanted to do something different with this album, so it was more like just about relationships with your family, your friends, with women, just, you know what I'm saying, life stuff like that. So I wanted to go in that direction, and beat wise, a lot of beats, a lot of soulful beats that Kill gave me, and it came out good, man. So if you get the time, check it out. It's called It's Not You, It's Me. Jarrell LKP. LKP stand for Lime Kiln Pike, where I was birthed, where Kill was birthed. So yeah.
Sure. Tone, where can they get at you, bro?
Yeah, just Tone of the Dome on X, Twitter, whatever, and then the Dome podcast on YouTube. And also Vegas time for another That Time in Hip Hop show on Veg Hip Hop Now channel. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Veg, where can they get at you, bro? And we still pumping up the best style vintage, brother.
Absolutely. You can follow me everywhere on social media at Biggest World INC, whatever the platform, same tag. You can check out my podcast, which is a weekly news podcast available in audio form everywhere, but also right here on YouTube. It's called Hip Hop Now Podcast, weekly news and perspectives, and sometimes some live streams and some interviews. I haven't done interviews in 9 years. Select a few. I get some crazy emails. Some of y'all niggas, I'm comfortable saying no. Okay, I've been doing it for a while. But I got some content coming up, and also, you know, you can check out me and Kill. We got 7 projects as far as albums and EPs and all that good stuff. Biggest World INC, the new stuff being Bed-Stuy Vintage, an album we put out recently on some boom bap stuff. And I'll probably share it on social, but we did a whole video breaking down our connection, the making of those projects, where we were in our lives at that time. So I'm going to reshare that again, so that people can check that out, kind of get a behind the scenes of our thought process, and then go check out the music. VegasWorldInc.bandcamp.com, but also on digital streaming platforms.
No doubt. One of my favorite projects with me in Vegas was Willmatic. Ill Will, the Queensbridge legend that Nas always talks about, is Vegas's cousin. So the project Willmatic kind of gives you an insight into who Ill Will was. You know, Nas has shouted him out all the time. Rel, I thought we was going to get to the verse in Second Childhood. We said don't curse in front of Miss Versi, who is Vegas's
Yeah.
All the proceeds from this album goes to Miss Versi, who's Ill Will's mother, who's Vegas's aunt. So anything you give us goes straight to her. So definitely check that out. With me, you already know what it is. Twitter, IG, Kill889. More importantly, I want to thank y'all for the night, man. You know, the being able to be vulnerable, being able to talk about what hip hop has done for us. This is what a lot of the youth need to see from us old heads. You know what I mean? To be able for them to understand this is why we love this so much. This because they like to call us gatekeepers. Y'all gatekeep. We gatekeep because we love this shit. You know what I'm saying? You put a gate in front of your house because you don't want anybody coming into your crib. You see what I'm saying? So y'all say it's gatekeeping like in a negative sense. It's like, no, we gatekeeping because we don't want the wrong niggas up into it. You know what I'm saying? Because the wrong niggas it up in your crib. I think we all know. You know what I mean? We all got some friends who ain't invited to our crib. There's some people I grew up with who have no idea where I live. Don't even know the state.
Word.
So you got to do that sometimes. But it's not gatekeeping because we don't want to allow y'all in. We gatekeep because we love this so much. We love this because it's held us down so much. We love this because it's given us a voice when we didn't have a voice. The great thing about this new generation, y'all got a voice. Maybe y'all got too many voices. That's the problem too, is the gift and the curse. So that's why we love it. That's why we gatekeep it. That's why and I'm even going to change the word to protect it. That's what we do. We're protecting our culture. We're not gatekeeping it. We're protecting it. So that's what it is. I will check y'all next week, good people.